evening, and welcome to another episode of A Manner of Speaking. Third time's the charm. I held up 2 fingers. For that, I should have really held up 3. Third time's the charm. Ha 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 ha. Yes, that doesn't. It sort of works. Sort of works.
It works.
Hello, good evening, and welcome. You are here to join us for a splendid occasion. I hear someone is hosting a party, and someone else might be summoning something. Who knows? Who knows, really? We've got a little bit to recap before we jump into our action, but as always, it is wonderful to see all of you here for this wonderful show, and just a brief reminder, if you contribute in any way through the financial donations, then I shall read those out at the break in the beginning. And we're Geek Space TV. We're very happy to be here. So with that, let's introduce who our players are and the lovely characters that they will be present. I don't know what this voice has become, but it's something. The lovely characters that they will be portraying for you this very eve. Who would like to begin? Perhaps the pinkest one. Yes.
Hello, my name is Aria. You can find me on Twitter at Genki Soda. I love these games. Just want to get that out there. This is amazing. Today I am playing Alexander Abednego Allerton Pickering, a lovable sort of Regency period version of a dumb jock. Very gentle, very confused.
He's
like a
so
golden
good
retriever.
at wizard ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I love chasing balls. And I'm also playing Professor Esmeralda Ellis as my secondary character. She's magical badass, but also very preoccupied with being a magical badass.
Mm-hmm. That seems accurate.
Let's try not to call my name.
Hello, I am Cheryl Platts, aka Muppets Aphrodite. And you can find me at that alias on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram, and all the things. I'm she, her, as are my 2 characters this evening. My primary character is Miss Persephone Finch, a tutor hired by the Allerton Pickering family to look after young Alexander here. And she may or may not have ulterior motives. And my secondary character is one Letitia Elfwin of Essex. And she is Alexander's girlfriend. And
Definitely doesn't have ulterior
definitely
motives.
does not have ulterior motives.
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
I'm Lizzie the Bold, and I tonight will be portraying the Dowager Felicity Allerton Pickering, the head of the Allerton Pickering family, such as it exists at the moment, as my primary character. And as my secondary character, we'll be playing Elaine Merritt, who is best friend to Ms. Persephone Finch. And pronouns all around are she, her.
Hi, sorry. I'm Anna Geeks. I've been the CEO here at Geek Space TV for a while, and I was just CEOing. So, sorry, a little distracted. I am Anna Geeks. I'm a full-time variety broadcaster. I do a lot of baking and playing a lot of video games and a little bit of crafting. And I really like RPGs as well. I like these games. They're fun. I am playing Faye Green, the older, younger sister of my wonderful bunny sister here. And both of us are she, her. I am also playing Matilda Balfour, the bestie of my wonderful bunny sister here. And yeah, that's it. And then I'm gonna go do a thing.
Okay.
I just need to adjust audio levels, apparently.
Excellent. We can
Goodbye.
also make sure everybody's got their mics towards their faces. Hello. All right. I am Random Tuesday. You can find me on the internet at pretty much all of the places at Random Tuesday. I forgot to mention what game we're playing today. That was my bad.
The olds are setting in.
Right? I'm starting to fade away with the times. So today we are going to be playing Good Society, which is a Jane Austen RPG, and particularly we are playing their magical expansion, Pride, Prejudice, and Practical magics. Which leads me into this segue, which is that currently there is a Kickstarter happening. So if you're like, oh, this game is amazing and I would love to play this game, then you too can get access to the expansion, the full version in print, and 2 new expansions that they are coming out with through their Kickstarter. So if you already have the previous versions, you can get a new printed book which will have all of the expansions in it, or you could just get the new expansion. So go check out their Kickstarter. Hopefully someone will put that link for me in chat. It is by Story Brewers, who are just an amazing, wonderful duo of people who we've had the delight to present these games for you today. And that is what all 3 Manner of Speakings have used, but today it is a particularly magical version. And I, as I said, am Random Tuesday, and I have several background characters that I will be playing, but I do have my own main character. They are Jean. My pronouns are she, her, and Jean Dubois. His pronouns are he, him, or le. I don't think that's correct, because I couldn't remember the conjugation of he in French.
French is really difficult with genders. So's German.
No, I
German
don't.
has declensions.
I am-
That's just,
Yeah.
That's just cruelty.
What is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, what is a declension?
It sounds painful.
Right?
Can you
Well, I mean,
unclench
it's
in it?
German, so of course it does.
Yeah. Also Latin.
Yeah,
That's what I learned about.
declension
Declensions. It's great.
and a reclension. What?
Yeah.
So,
There shall be no clensions.
no
in this
clensions.
household.
Yeah.
None at all.
So, with that in mind, as we hold our teacups, let's remind ourselves what has happened previously in this wonderful game so far, because we're on our 3rd episode. Don't worry if you've missed it. Stick around. It'll all make perfect sense to you, probably. So we have 2 organizations of particular importance in our town. We have the College of Wizardry and the Local Witches Association. The Local Witches Association, of course, is headed by none other than our dear dowager over here, Felicity Allerton Pickering. And in the first episode, we learned that the Witches Association has been suffering from some attendance issues related to all of their members being basically dead or definitely dead, and variations within there. And that there was a new leader of the overall Witches Association who was going to come visit. And this stirred up quite a stir. Everyone got quite worried about this, and so they determined, naturally, we needed to have a gala event where we invite all of the young people in our town to join our local Witches Association, and bring them all over to our side. And screw those College of Wizards. On the flip side, we have the College of Wizards, which our young Alexander is about. Yes, Alexander? Yes. About to attend. The young Faye is currently attending. The slightly less young but still young Persephone is a graduate of, and so on and so forth. And also it is the mortal enemy of Felicity Allerton Pickering. And they are led by a none other than, Headmaster Dr. Leopold Wiverston. And he is quite the charmer, you might say. You know, because he's magical. But also probably a drunkard and kind of an asshole. And we learned some more things about how he's really just not a good person. Blah, 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 blah. I'm
Pretty sure he's the exact same guy that I killed in the last Manor of Speaking. Now that I'm thinking about it.
He is patriarchy in
darn
character
it.
form. So we...
The same voice.
did I play that character in the last one?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was you and Lizzie.
Oh, no, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, Lizzie, you murdered Lizzie.
Well, it was still pretty much the same voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. And there was
It's
a
fine,
ha,
everything's
ha, ha,
fine.
ha, which was also
Yeah.
the same sort of voice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've had him
No,
before.
you're good. Yeah.
We've had him before. So,
Which I shamelessly stole from Marcus.
yeah, that's
The
right. Meanwhile, there is something happening in the woods, and we're not really sure what it is, but strange runes and sigils has been spotted all over, and the Professor Ellis has been on a quest to determine the cause behind these strange runes and sigils. She sent Faye off on a task, and we have learned that it seems to be related to summoning, maybe? Or it could be fine. And also the Wessex family, who definitely do not have any other ulterior motives and might be working with Gregor Fitzwilliam, another mortal enemy of Felicity and a person on the local witches' college. But so basically we've got the Witches Association struggling with numbers, hosting a gala, and something strange happening in the woods as our 2 sort of main things. There's also an interesting connection going on between Persephone and her student that seems mystical in some capacity.
Dreaming about each other.
There's, dreams about each other, getting telekinetically punched in the face. The Lady Felicity had a terrible illness last week. She was quite sick for a while. Couldn't even talk. I don't know how she managed. And we met Lucian's best friend. Faye learned that the person she admired is probably a terrible person because patriarchy, blah, 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 blah. So, does that pretty much cover all of it? Anyone feel as if there is anything left? Yep, cool. So in today, we're going to have slightly fewer sections. We don't have another rumor and scandal, and we don't have a second reputation phase. So that does, on the flip side, give us a little bit more time for some of our scenes. So what I was thinking in terms of our structure, we start with some novel chapter. And then in our second novel chapter, so after we do reputation and the letter writing, that's when we'll have the gala. So we'll kind of leave that as our sort of closing scene. Because then we have the last epistolatory, which can be scenes. It's also our epilogue. So that's where we can kind of resolve what people can write letters, but we could also pull in some little scenes that's a bit more flexible as our epilogue for the story. So that was my plan for the structure, which means we'll sort of kick off with the next day. We'd had the previous day. Professor Ellis had said she's gone off into the woods, and I'm not sure anybody knew about that, so that might be something we discover. And the previous day had ended with Persephone being dropped at home. No, Persephone already lives there, with Faye being dropped at home at the Miss Poppington's house, Isabella Poppington. And I believe you had gone off to bed after a strange conversation with Alexander, which was bizarre. And so we begin the next day.
And then I forged that letter.
And then you forged the letter.
I surreptitiously invited the dean to the party.
Yep. And the next day you're waking up feeling much better, perhaps, or perhaps a day or two will pass, and whatever poultices you were consuming have now kicked in, and you're feeling much better. In fact, the Lady Poppington brought you one that was a strange glass bottle with it was sort of glowing, effervescent liquid inside of it, and you felt much better afterwards.
What did it taste like?
Tastes like moonlight and elderflowers.
Oh, quite lovely.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes, I'm feeling quite a bit better today.
So, for this first novel chapter, in preparation for our gala, is there any scenes anyone in particular wanted to have? Anything? All right, let's jump in here. What is Alexander up to today?
I would love to look my most dashing for this party.
Yes.
I took it upon myself to
no.
try to concoct some beautification potions. I've done a number, except, this time I was really going to try to level up and do something a lot more intense. I collected quite a lot of unicorn kisses from my unicorn, mostly spit. Just hold a nice cake in front of the unicorn and get the drool.
Is this like our version of K-beauty?
Yes, exactly. It is.
It's like snail mucus, but unicorn spit.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And like bird song and all this other stuff. And I put it together, and I wanted my hair to look glowing and opalescent. Mm-hmm. And I just set it on fire. And
so perhaps Lady Miss Persephone comes downstairs at some point in this process, and or you smell burning hair. I don't know whether or not you choose to do anything about it, but you may smell some burning hair and hear some like panicked yelling from the study or whatever room you were maybe in the day before.
I've just finished my toast for the morning. And,
like, oh, that's not burnt toast.
I'm done with the toast. You hear the disruption in the other room, and I assume the door's closed.
yes.
So I will rap gently at the door. Good sir, how are you doing this morning?
Oh, no problem, no
Smoke
problem.
wafts out of the room.
Just whipping something up, having a little fun.
Just so you know, that particular kind of smoke, you may have your ingredients slightly off. Try tempering it with something a bit less acidic.
Wonderful, wonderful. That should work next time. Oh my. And I look down at myself and I'm just like, I can see that I'm pinker all over. Like, I spilled a lot of the potion once my hair got on fire. And, like, everything's got a little bit more, like, dandy-ish. than usual.
I think that the smoke coming out from below the door it colors her hand slightly. She's like,
Oh, it's
oh.
potent.
It also made it so that if I smile too brightly, I could blind somebody. Literally. So I have to
Ooh.
be a little bit
You
more...
hear, so after the smoke clears, like there's like light emanating from this room. We just sort of see this like flash of like a light underneath. Okay, blinding teeth.
If you need anything, please don't hesitate to ask.
Yes, no problem. Oh my goodness. And I look in a mirror and I'm like, I look great, but also quite a bit more boyish than I did before. And like youthful, I guess. Even though I was still pretty young, I was kind of getting there. So it like aged me back a bit.
Rosy cheeked and
Yeah.
wide eyed.
And I'm just like, oh, nice. But I still have my muscles, and maybe they got bigger a little bit. So
How?
I'm just like, wow, it's like an idealized version of myself, except a little, took it up to 11 instead of to 10.
Will you just stay in the room, or how will you exit the room?
I will exit the room with one of those things where you open the door and you go like this, and look around, and then be like, hope some people see me and react, and no one's in the hallway.
Persephone
do you wait?
was concerned, so she's reading a random book she picked up from the table and is sitting on a settee in the parlor nearby. So
You hear the sound of the door.
I sort of see the glow change. Goodness gracious,
What do you think?
you're stunning.
Thank you.
How did you achieve so much transformation all at once?
Well, a little bit of unicorn kisses, a little bit of crystal, a few pages from a romance novel.
Which novel?
The Wind in the Bushes.
I never thought to use that. You know, I've never tried a romance novel, but clearly that you're onto something.
Yes, and my like pecs are just like bursting through my shirt a little bit.
Very much onto something. Certainly you don't need any notes from me. I'm quite proud of you, Alexandra. That's significant progress in such short time.
Well, thank you. I do think that my calling will be, if it can't be sports ball, it's going to be beauty products. Everyone deserves to feel as magnificent as I look. Wow, that sounded really arrogant. That's not what I meant to say. Maybe this potion had some bad impacts on me.
You're just speaking truth. Well, I'm going to take a walk around the garden to make sure that there's nothing I can do to help your mother, but don't hesitate to let me know if you need anything.
Oh, thank you.
Saunter away. So we'll kind of wrap that up as we to our explanation. Yeah, you fan yourself vigorously. What is this lady? You feel like you look like you want to do something.
I
Am
do?
Okay, I don't know. You just
Do I?
you seem to expect it. If you don't, that's fine too.
No.
Okay. So there is a knock at the door. Perhaps the servants will answer it, and one of them will come up to your room and excuse me, Miss Lady Felicity. Yes, there is a lady here to see you.
What is the smell of burning unicorn spit? Never mind. Who is here?
They said their name is Amelia Periwinkle. Miss Amelia Periwinkle. She said it was just here to see you. Oh, my dear! My goodness, my lady, are you alright? They rush over to you.
Yeah, I'm fine. Allow me, I'll show her into the nicer drawing room.
Yes, of course.
And I shall greet her presently. Send my lady's maid in. I must be dressed appropriately.
Of course, right away. And they scurry away and they send in someone else who will get you dressed.
Get me ready for the day.
So Miss Amelia Periwinkle is led in and she sits into the main drawing room. I assume the two of you are not currently around.
Okay. In the garden.
You're in the garden and
I'm
you
preening.
You preening where?
Probably in my room, doing a lot of
Okay.
push-ups.
Okay. That's freeing for you. So she will wait there quite happily and patiently, drinking her tea that she's, of course, brought with. Do you do anything before you go in to meet her?
No. You know what, actually? She will scribble down a quick note to be sent off by one of the servants to Matilda to let her know that the Inquisitor has arrived. And then a second letter to be delivered to Ms. Finch to let her know that there is a incredibly important visitor currently in the drawing room, and if she could please do what is possible to wrangle Alexander.
This is in letter form?
Yes, it would be most appreciated. A little note.
The servant comes
delivered.
and finds you in the garden.
It's on a little
taps you
silver plate. And this is from
The lady of Feliciter.
just now.
The lady, yes.
Certainly. I do tell her I will attend her needs presently.
And I think they take it back and then it just goes up in flames in their hands and they just walk back with the tray.
And Persephone's sort of dazed, just back into the house. Like, why could she just... She's such a peculiar woman.
So all of that done, she then makes herself most presentable, most respectable looking, and joins Ms. Periwinkle in the drawing room. Oh, Miss Periwinkle, it's so lovely to finally make your acquaintance.
So you see Miss Periwinkle, and she is, well, how should I put this? Unlike the Dowager, she's not basically dead. She's young. She's like 30.
The line is so like you're over here. You're
It's basically 35. Like that's your seesaw point. You know.
Gulf of discontent.
The lines settle in. The hair goes shock white.
Yeah.
It's over.
I think it's like my favorite the way they it's like how they describe like the way anime like women are drawn. It's like young, old. Like that's it. There's no like middle
lose
ground.
like 5
Yeah.
feet of height
Yeah.
instantaneously.
Yeah.
It's like okay, you hit 35 and bam, boom, it's over there. And so she's drinking her tea and she's got like a very probably the newer sort of trend as we're edging kind of closer to Victorian. It's a much more narrow sort of silhouette, more of like a suit jacket. Her hair is pulled back, and she's got like I think it's a little periwinkle purple decorations, like a bow in her hair and a little sprig of sage. And she's sort of drinking her tea and just sort of looking around the room. She's got little glasses on. Oh, Lady Felicity, Lady Allerton Pickering, it is so lovely to meet you.
Likewise, Ms. Periwinkle. I am so sorry for keeping you waiting. I hope that you've been enjoying the tea and the cakes and
It's
the crumpet.
Quite delicious. Your hospitality is so wonderful. I know I'm a little bit early, and your gala is not for... She names whatever it is. But I wanted to get settled in town. You do have a local wizards college here, so it seemed appropriate to check out this fine institution while visiting.
You're staying at the Wizarding College.
Oh, no, I'm staying at a local inn.
Ah, I see. But you will be visiting the
Of course.
Wizarding College.
It seems important to know all of the major magical factions that are happening in here.
Indeed.
They are, after all, quite influential.
They are.
If we had an objective scale for this, I would rate them 4. As opposed to, well,
1.
other factions.
Yes. I must say, the Wizarding College, though of course they do produce some very magnificent wizards amongst their studentry, which is a word I just made up.
No, it's a perfectly normal and quite
Yes.
correct word.
They do have a tendency to try and exert quite a fair bit of their influence upon the town and other
Certainly.
magical factions.
I have heard about the recent decree. It is quite alarming, considering the
is.
number of handicraft wand makers we have amongst local witches.
Indeed it is. And a thing that we at the local Witches Association are most concerned with.
Oh, are you taking action?
Indeed we are.
Oh, that's lovely to hear.
Yes.
Tell me more about this.
We've written a letter. We've written a very strongly worded letter signed by all of the members of the association. And then we sent the letter to, what is his name? To Dr. Leopold Wiverston, as well as the board of directors of the college. We have also, of course, made also a strongly worded letter to the local paper in the form of a letter to the editor to
And
make the local population
what are
aware.
your follow-up action items to this? Have you assigned tasks to individuals? Really, what are we doing here to ensure the synergistic cooperation of all of the individuals within our organization? We really must be leveraging all of the resources that we have at hand.
Oh my God, Lauren! Suddenly,
I have a chart. She waves her wand.
suddenly Lizzie is in hell.
Yeah. Can I bring in a rumor and scandal?
I'm considering that we suggest starting with a particular strategy that I like to call Scrum.
Oh God.
Oh, actually.
Where's the X card?
There is nothing wrong with Scrum.
I feel like war is about to break out.
It's just the misuse of Scrum.
It is the misuse of Scrum, which
That's
is
fair.
the problem.
So as you've gotten this impression of who Amelia Periwinkle is.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Please.
I think
oh,
Oh.
yes.
I want to use the rumor and scandal for the local witches association is dying.
Mm-hmm.
Do I get to say what I'd like to have happen
Yes,
here?
you do. And then we determine who the token should go to and so on. So.
You're coming to advocate that they agree to a merger with a large local witches association.
that Amelia Periwinkle. I accept your token.
Yes.
Does that mean I cross this out now?
Yep.
Yes, that
Alright,
that
no new
rumor
members.
has been manifested.
Um,
And I have gone upstairs to deal with the letter
Yeah,
that
let's-
was addressed.
Let's pause this scene as Amelia Periwinkle is listening to your action items of strongly worded letters.
I knock on Alexander's door. Alexander, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but we have received a letter from your mother.
So I open the door again in the dashing way, except I'm shirtless. And I've clearly just been doing a lot of push-ups and bicep
But
curls. so
now
I'm just-
your sweat kind of glitters a little bit
Yeah.
because the unicorn.
And I'm nice and puffed up after a good workout when you're looking really good. Open the door.
You're readying yourself quite skillfully, I see. There's a Miss Periwinkle downstairs. I understand she's from the local Witches Association.
What?
And I believe, if I'm reading the situation correctly, your mother would like you to represent the family well in the parlor.
Oh goodness.
She said,
Wait.
She said she wanted me to make sure that you were ready for the visitor, and so here I am.
What do you mean by represent? Did she give any clarification about the meaning of that word?
Well, she didn't use the. She said make sure that you are ready, and she didn't necessarily use the word represent. But I'm afraid the letter has self-destructed, as it were. So I'm afraid I cannot check the references.
Wait, so am I supposed to entertain her?
Seems like a reasonable start.
All right,
I mean,
yes,
a
that I can
lighthearted
do.
sense of activities. You could show off your new skill that you've developed, perhaps.
Wizard ball? Yeah.
No, Wizard Ball is not generally accepted in the parlor, per se.
Well, we can go outside.
I'm sure they're enjoying
Show her
their
my
tea.
unicorns. That'll be a lovely time.
perhaps on a second visit.
I mean, unicorns are pretty.
You don't want to overwhelm her. That would be gauche.
Oh, well, just give me a moment, and I go and I like get ready and put on a shirt and like I'm on my new fluffy pink bows, silk and everything, but really fluffy, and I just like saunter down the stairs.
And you sort of enter into the parlor at the moment you're finishing up talking about this strongly worded letter.
Very strongly worded.
Yes, and so the action items, what you're going to be doing next.
Well, we are going to be hosting.
Oh, goodness! And that's when you just suddenly you're in the room.
Pardon the intrusion. I think what my mother was about to say is hosting the most wonderful party ever. And is there any chance you would care to grace us with your presence?
Alexander, so allow me to make an introduction.
Yes, quite, certainly.
Miss
Yes, it's wonderful.
Amelia Periwinkle, allow me to introduce my son, Alexander Allerton Pickering.
Oh, so you're Alexander.
Oh, you know of me.
Well,
I'm
I
so
do my
flattered.
research.
It's so strange to see you downstairs, Alexander. I could have sworn that you were in the gardens. That now is the time at which you take your constitution.
It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I would love to speak with you more, if that's okay.
At the gala, yes, the one I've heard about those. The party that you're throwing.
How long are you in town for?
Well, I'm here for to inquisit, and I'll be here until the Inquisition is done.
Sounds so official.
I do
Any-
try.
Time for enjoying a little bit of the area?
Well, I do hope to take in some of the things that are happening here. In fact, I intended to visit the local College of Wizards. I hear you're supposed to be attending soon.
Yes, very soon. I am looking forward to my studies there and looking forward to all of the wonderful things that all of the professors have to teach me.
Yes. Actually, that leads me quite well into my next topic of conversation for you.
Yes.
But perhaps we should wait until we're in different company again.
I do believe, Alexander, we had a previous engagement.
Oh, Mrs. Finch, you're here as well.
She's just standing in the hallway, doing the tutor thing where you're just kind of there, but in the woodworks. Your wizard ball practice in the
Oh yes,
forest?
So since last time we did a little bit of a cleansing ward, some of the enchantments that make me not see other beauty that Letitia may or may not, they're not like coercive. It means I just don't pay attention as much to
Are you
what's
saying this out loud?
No.
No.
Okay. Sorry,
Okay. But
Sorry.
basically, so I'm not aware of this, but suddenly I'm like, wow, there are lots of beautiful people around me. And I'm like very excited. And I'm clearly quite smitten. Just, I don't know, powerful lady. Sounds nice.
You're surrounded by them right now.
I know. And it's a little intense, but somehow like your seriousness, maybe you remind me a little bit of Lucian when he's mad at me.
Miss Periwinkle.
Yes.
As you are unfamiliar with our town,
I
our
am.
lovely little
Perhaps you could give me a tour.
Yes. Well, that
I
would
was
be wonderful.
thinking just the thing. Perhaps my son could escort you about the town and then make introductions at the college.
Have you ever ridden a unicorn? Do you know how to ride unicorns?
I have.
We have a
not.
perfectly fine carriage, Alexander.
But what an
We don't have many of
opportunity.
those up in Norwich.
Well, if you are feeling adventurous, I would love to give you a lesson.
Perhaps another time, and just straightens the glasses again.
And he's like, someone's saying no to me. That doesn't happen so often.
I will join you in a moment. I have one last thing to mention to your mother, to the lady, and then I will meet you outside, and we'll go about town. That
Is it-
sounds lovely.
Is it awkward if I just stay?
This is
Alexander,
only
I
for
would love
leaders of the
for
local
you.
witches association
I'm
currently.
making this awkward. All right. See you later. And I just kind of like saunter, like doing like a little bit of a this walk.
Well, he's charming.
Thank you. He is my youngest.
Oh, that's right. You popped out quite a few.
I did. I have quite a few sons and daughters, all of which are now married and moved out, and he is my one remaining child.
Well, he's attending the college soon, which, speaking of the college,
Yes.
the local witches association understands that in certain areas and certain regions, we just don't have enough clout or sufficient capacity to perform the functions that we'd like to in order to support the local witches. And I have been investigating for the North Witch branches that we should consider a merger with the local College of Wizards. And I wanted to inform you that that's currently on the docket. So that's part of why I'm here and while I'll be meeting with Professor Witherston.
Miss Periwinkle, I understand that situations in the north where you are from may be somewhat different. Relations between the local college and the local witches association are possibly very different, but I feel I was not going to bring this up, as it is quite a thing of impropriety and not something I like discussing in polite company. But I feel if this is the direction with which you are attempting to steer our association, I must inform you of certain things that I have recently learned about the head of the college.
Dr. Leopold Witherston.
Yes. That Dr. Leopold, and I'm going to use
There's one on drunk cheater.
This is a lot for him.
That the headmaster is a womanizer and hates the local witches association.
We used that token last week.
Did you? Okay, never
yes.
mind.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I think
But
that's why I circled that.
Okay.
But there is one on drunk
That he
cheater.
is
the
a
philanderer.
drunkard and a philanderer.
Yes. That. So I am going to use the rumor that he is the drunken philanderer, and to try and like steer her towards thinking this is an association that we as a respectable institution would not want to make. So yes, I have learned recently from very reliable sources that that Dr. Witherston is unfortunately a man of ill repute and cannot be trusted in the presence of respectable ladies.
Well, that is certainly concerning information.
Yes, and is, in fact, one of the reasons that our association has been trying to both distance ourselves from the college and also to make ourselves more known to the younger people, that we might perhaps tempt them away from this place of that is ruled over by a man of such low character, to instead join our ranks amongst the Witches Association. And I fear that if we were to become one organization, that would be decidedly undermined.
I shall definitely have to investigate this further. This is certainly concerning and does put a concept of a merger in a difficult position, but you have to recognize that particularly your branch of the local Witches Association here in the lovely town of
Haverford-upon-Sea.
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 Haverford-upon-Sea. She checks her notes. Haverford-upon-Sea. Your numbers are particularly concerning. You have had a... She pulls out a piece of paper and you just see this, like, graph with this line going down.
We have 37 members.
Yes, and they are having quite a steep drop-off.
You know, people
Realistically, if you
die.
continue in this rate, you'll have no one left and your organization wouldn't persist, which is really the reason I'm considering this merger. But if you say that you're truly reaching out to and providing this youth outreach program,
Yes.
then perhaps there is a chance for you to revitalize your organization, and I will be able to take under true consideration this very disturbing thing you have told me about Dr. Williston.
Yes, well, you are a respectable witch, and I am certain that I can leave this matter in your hands, and you will make the most advantageous decision for
I
the
was elected.
synergy of the collective association.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. Of course. I'm all about synergistic collectivism.
Yes.
After all, I was elected to provide true direction and revitalize the organization across the country.
Yes. And in that we can see eye to eye. I am most certainly what are some of the buzzwords you just used?
Just make it up.
I am most certainly looking to interface with the local talent and human resources.
Yes. And I'm really looking to create a unique, diverse organization that can truly stand for all voices within the magical community.
Yes, to integrate with the goals of the organization.
Yes. I'm going to have to check this with the biz dev team. But
Oh, God's hell! oh, take me back to the spreadsheets and the scrum.
well, on that note, I look forward to viewing the rest of this town with your son, and well, I hope this gala is a success.
Thank you.
As they're saying goodbye to each other, I've been in the shadows, and I just quietly fade back into the hallway.
Very nice. So she will get up and leave and meet you somewhere. And we can cut to that scene. What do you do as soon as she's gone?
I think as soon as she leaves is when Matilda shows up, huffing and puffing, having got there as fast as an old lady can.
An old lady of 37.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matilda, is she still here? She's with Alexander.
Oh, good.
You know,
Excellent.
I thought for a moment that perhaps it was a horrible idea, but then, and in fact sent a note to Miss Finch to that effect. It's very curious that it did not seem to reach her. But then Alexander came in, and he was looking quite sharp today. It was very strange. And
Very dashing boy.
yes, and so now my hope is, Matilda,
Yes.
that perhaps she will be taken by his charm, of which I am told he has a considerable amount.
I can't see it.
I can't tell. Just seems like kind of a fuck up to me. So lovable. I love him. I love my son. I love my son.
He overhears the discussion of his his charms and comes in. I couldn't help but overhear you speaking of Alexander, and I just needed to give you an update.
Miss Finch.
Did you know that he created the potion that made him look so sharp today on his own?
Oh, is that what the burning smell was?
But isn't it remarkable that even before he begins his studies, he's finding something that brings him passion and something that makes him want to desire to try harder? I'm sure he can work out the burning smell.
Indeed. I'm quite pleased. It seems that you have made quite a bit of progress with my son, and I am incredibly grateful for the direction that you are steering him into to stimulate his intellectual curiosity.
It is an honor to serve your family, and I'm happy to just do my work.
Thank you so much, Miss Finch. You're quite a boon to our family.
Part of the synergistic collective. I didn't realize this was going to torture you as much as it did. I'm so glad.
I hate all these fucking buzzwords. Like, I hate them.
I'm just going to step into the garden and hang some low-hanging fruit so your friend Miss Periwinkle feels comfortable tonight. During the party, not tonight.
Yes. Thank you so much, dear.
Are you going to the garden?
Yes.
Okay. I want to spend one of these tokens to make something cool be happening.
Okay.
So, there's some problem in the forest of some kind,
Yes.
and a family of giant worms, like dragon worms, comes out of the forest, and they clearly, well, while I'm outside talking to the Inquisitor, sort of trying to charm her a little, not necessarily very consciously trying to flirt, but
That's Alexander's way of being.
yes. And the worms come out, and I know what to do. And so I take off my shirt and get down just to my pants and decide to wrestle the lead worm. So these are like giant, like dragons.
Yeah, they're like the
with
dragons, but with wings instead of front legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're
And so we're wrestling. And I managed to overpower the lead worm. I look very amazing the whole time. There's sort of magic coming off of me, and it's very just sort of like athletic magic that's just kind of happening as I do this. And I defeat the head worm, and then all the worms sort of coil after I've done that and sort of come to look at me. And the Inquisitor is there and is just like, can you tell me what happened? I want to spend.
I'm walking out.
you're
to see
watching
this.
outside, so I think we can give that token to Persephone.
Oh,
So yeah, why not? Give it the token.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So, did I, in referencing the rumor about the drunken philanderer, did I use that token?
I
Or
don't
did I just
think so
reference it?
because
Okay.
I think you referenced it because I didn't feel like you wanted something specific to happen out of it. Like, so I think in this instance, that token can still be there.
What? Yeah. I just wanted to make sure it was available to use later.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, yes, you know what? That moment all happens because
Yes.
why not? So both Amelia Periwinkle and Persephone Finch are sort of standing there as there are like 3 worms in the garden. Also, the garden's kind of torn up. It's not in a great state. This battle was destructive.
Yeah.
Why do people
So I-
always come to my gardens?
The conservatory shattered.
So I come out, I'm looking very proud.
He threw a worm into it.
So,
My party.
you all look kind of shocked. Do you want me to explain? I know humans and worms don't interact that often. Yes?
You just wrestled a worm.
Right. Yes, the worms and...
You threw one into the conservatory.
Right. Well, yes, I had no choice.
I must say this does not happen regularly.
Are you sure?
It's... So people don't
Good.
know that much about worms. They are a proud and very private creature, and whenever they come to someone for help, you have to show that you are worthy of offering your help by defeating them in battle. So they
I'm sorry,
came,
what? Why?
That hardly seems efficient or advisable.
Well, they only want advice from those that are worthy of hearing or getting advice from. They don't trust non-worms.
It's quite an impressive piece of knowledge about this level of specificity of worm culture.
I have a way with magical creatures. We get along, kind of speak the same language in a sense. But anyway, they have informed me that there is something quite terrible in the woods, and it's coming. And they would like us to grant them protection, or at the very least, passage through the town.
The whole town.
Yes, that's the only way they can go.
Isn't there another side to the forest?
They can't go that way. It's between here and there is the something terrible. It would kill them.
Alexander, tell me, if the worms are running away from something in the forest, what will the rest of the wildlife in the forest do?
Oh. Well, yes, worms are particularly sensitive to magic and magical shiftings. Sort of like a dog before an earthquake. They tend to kind of know. So I imagine very soon, maybe in a couple hours or a couple days, the forest will begin emptying. If the other creatures sense it, and if indeed the worms actually picked up on it. I mean, they're very superstitious creatures.
Do they have a high false positive rate?
Yes. They're very
Perhaps you should run a
superstitious.
double blind test. I don't know, she's a scientist now. Right. So it could be nothing.
Could be nothing, or it could be. I mean, they're very scared. They don't normally have their sort of like leader be the one to do the wrestling.
Presumably, this sounds like business for both the College of Wizards and the local Witches Association to deal with. Now, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but we should immediately call an action meeting.
An action meeting.
Yes, a meeting in which one takes action. As opposed to most meetings in which no action is ever taken, and there's just a lot of gossip and hobnob.
That's fair.
Is this like the tomato thing?
You mean a tomato?
Right. Like I say tomato, you say tomato. I'm not sure I understand what's happening. What's an action meeting?
That was a horrible idea, actually.
It's a meeting in which action happens.
Right.
Right.
Seems kind of obvious. Okay. Maybe it's over my head.
Is he alright? She like steps to the side and looks to you like, is he alright? Is he all there?
Quite.
What was I thinking?
He just asks questions. He doesn't take anything at face value.
Right, and you're his... We haven't met.
No, we have not. Miss Persephone Finch,
Ah.
tutor to the Allerton Pickering family.
Amelia Periwinkle, High Inquisitor General of the local Witches Association, Norwich branch.
Lovely to make your acquaintance. It must be quite an honor that you've stopped here.
Well, I'm doing my rounds, of course, of all the local councils of our association. I was recently elected, you see.
Well, congratulations on
Thank
that.
you. But, so, given everything he said, should we not immediately institute some sort of evacuation of this town?
Oh, Lady Allerton Pickering will not abide by an unauthorized evacuation. The gala is coming. You do understand that her influence is more important in this town than anyone else's opinion.
And also imminent possible demise. What would you like to do now?
What happened there?
So, as the Inquisitor, you have a lot of information about things, and you have heard the rumor that the Allerton Pickering family has some sort of secret business deal with Persephone, and you're wondering if this is not something that's happening in order to scare you off to hide the business dealings that they have, and that's also why the witches group is so
Okay,
upset.
so you would like Amelia Periwinkle to be suspicious of whatever is happening here right now and potentially take action without consulting Lady Felicity?
Yes.
I take this token.
Why does everyone hate me?
And she sort of, so I think she pauses and she looks at you and, of course, I wouldn't want to, she is the leader of a small but still likely influential faction within this community. I think we'll have to cancel our tour of the town. I have some business I need to attend to. It was lovely to meet you, Miss
Likewise.
Finch, and Lord Allerton Pickering.
It was lovely to meet you as well. I'm so sad.
And to
Would
you, and she like
promise
waves
to
at the
write
worms.
me after you leave?
I will be at the gala.
Right. Oh, so we can't go on the walk, but you're staying for the party.
I have some business to attend to.
Okay. Still, write me after you go.
And she smiles, and she will leave.
I walk over to one of the steaming piles of dirt that's been created in the garden, and I pick up Alexander's shirt, and I bring it back to him.
This is too dirty to wear now.
He just throws that servant, picks it up.
Very well. I just was concerned you might get sunburned.
Just rippling pectorals.
Anyway, I'm so sorry that your friend had to leave.
Well, I mean, isn't everybody friend? And doesn't everybody go? No big suffering here. And he just sort of
Looks sad.
a little sad, but he
You know
doesn't
what?
why.
I want monologue token.
Okay, all right, I will do that.
I'm spending my monologue token. You don't need it. But what is in this moment on Alexander's mind?
Did I mess up again? Did I do something wrong? I just want to do right by my family and have my mother be proud of me. I thought she wanted me to entertain the guest, but I think I made it awkward. I can never tell. And I just want to be good and be nice and impressive and make everyone smile and have a good time. And why can't I take her on a tour of the town?
While he's sort of pacing in the garden, I would like to use to cast magic. Use a resolve token. So I've said that I am a master of potions and alchemy. And I'm going to define what alchemy is to me.
Yes.
Which is mastery over earth elements in all of their forms. And so what he will see in the distance is I walk into the center of the garden with it, and it's torn up. Like this, there's just, I can't do anything about the conservatory, that's just a mess. But the lawn itself, which of course, if it's damaged, will hurt our chances at a successful gala. I kneel down in the garden and sort of plant my hands in the center. And you see a sort of glow start emanating from the ground, illuminating Persephone in quite a becoming fashion. And the dirt that is out of place begins to rearrange itself. In a manner sort of like, it looks like rolling little pieces of dirt as if the ages of time are being rewinded. Very, very epic as the yard resorts itself.
I think that one doesn't have
she's mumbling some stuff under her
a
breath.
target, so I will ask you a question. And I'm presuming you don't want to you would like it to be successful.
I would like to pay the resolve
Okay,
token.
so pay the resolve token, and then, what? Ooh. How does a faction take an interest in or exception to your actions? Why would someone be interested in what you're demonstrating? Very high level, very proficient magic. How might one of the two factions in our game notice and take interest in us?
Perhaps the badass lady notices a disturbance in the force. Our professor of the blue coat.
So we see these kind of like lines of magic sort of tremble out and like tremble into the forest, and we're not really sure why. Okay, I like that. All right.
Yeah, Tandon, couldn't have your mother upset about that.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Oh, I know I always make it harder for her.
Speaking
For
of,
the both of
meanwhile,
us.
inside, are the two of you still talking?
Probably discussing the upcoming festivity, how we're going to plan for that, doing some organization things.
Wondering what the crashing noise was.
Yeah.
Not wanting to know.
Yep.
No, Matilda. I am particularly vexed by this idea of a merger between the association and the college.
Outrageous.
Absolutely outrageous.
Very vexing.
Very vexing. Especially considering the things that we have heard about Dr. Wiverston.
Indeed.
But, to be quite frank, even without that, even if he was a perfect gentleman, it's ridiculous that we should have to merge ourselves with the college.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It is of the utmost importance that this gala goes off without a hitch, and that we are successful in getting additional interest in joining the association. But it's also of the utmost importance that we expose Wiverston for what he is.
Yes. It's got it coming.
Yes. Do you have any suggestions for how to do that?
Brandishes a wand menacingly.
Perhaps we invite him to the gala.
What?
Inevitably, he will make a scene himself. Why don't we just
let him do it for us.
We could.
We can perhaps pass it off as playing into the Inquisitor's hand, wanting to facilitate good relations, and then she'll see him for herself.
Matilda, this is why we are friends. You have a devious mind behind
Yes,
those
very,
incredibly
very
large
devious.
spectacles.
Can't see well.
Yes, I will draft a letter out immediately.
Excellent, yes.
We must make sure that we have a most tempting cordial available, so that should the doctor choose to partake.
Roofie his drink.
No.
Like, he's known to be drunk.
Essentially,
That's true.
have alcohol available
Okay.
to
Yeah.
be abused.
But not too tempting, you know how I get.
Yes. Well, you know, you're going to have to keep a lid on it
Myself,
tonight,
yes.
Matilda. It's not that kind of party. We will have one of those kinds of parties, but after the Inquisitor leaves,
Yes.
and after we can fix
Patient.
the light machine.
Takes some like pepperoni.
The old biddies get down, all right. Yes, quite good.
Quite, yes.
Yes, I will draft a letter
Excellent.
immediately.
So I have one final quick little scene to have, and it's with Faye. Faye and Gregor Fitzwilliam.
Uh-oh.
We haven't met him yet. But we've had letters from Letitia to Gregor Fitzwilliam.
Indeed.
So he might be in on something.
Remind me who.
So Gregor Fitzwilliam is another professor at the College of
Oh, he's a
Wizards.
professor. Okay.
Yeah, he is a
But
professor.
his name's not alliterative.
It is not. He has some past with a Lady Allerton Pickering over here, but we're not entirely sure what this past is after all. But he is a teacher there, so it would make sense. He's probably seen you. You may have encountered him, and his name's familiar. So I think at some point he sort of invites you into his office for just a brief chat. You're registered for one of his classes. And so he's like, and you go into his office, and he's maybe a relatively standard professor, but probably unlike the uncle who just had like animals running rampant around his office. He's very like put together, very clean suit and proper, but sort of a bit severe. Kind of the opposite of the very sort of flamboyant, charismatic like Dr. Leopold, and he's sort of very stern. Like, Miss Green, thank you for
Professor.
coming to visit. I take a seat, and would you like a cup of tea?
Oh, no, thank you.
I hear you've been working with Professor Ellis recently.
I have a bit, yes. Professor Ellis had some extra credit for me over the summer.
Right, that's particularly concerning for me.
Oh, why?
Well, I don't know if you know this. He sort of sits down, but Professor Ellis has had previous students that she has assigned extra credit for, and those students did not make it to the start of the term.
I don't understand.
One of them was eaten by a dragon,
I see.
and the other one, I think they are stuck in another dimension, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Professor Ellis is brilliant, but also unobservant. Hyper observant in certain areas, but not so much in other areas. I just wanted to let you know that whatever she's having you chase down in the woods may not be safe.
Thank you, Professor. If I may, in my experience, there is a great deal of magic that is not safe, and many things that we can learn from that.
Sort of gives you a kind of a concerned look. You intend to continue pursuing the task she set you to.
A professor has asked me to do something, yes. Yes, I do intend to.
Well then, consider this separate. A different professor is telling you that it is not in your best interests to continue investigating the woods.
I see. Thank you for your consideration.
I value your safety and well-being, Miss Green. I would hate to see something bad happen to such a talented student as yourself.
Thank you, Professor.
Now, enjoy the rest of your day.
I want a monologue token. I
Yeah.
want Anna to
Do
know what
it.
she's
Alright.
thinking.
How dare he?
Bam! That's my sister.
How dare he question the brilliant Professor Ellis? How dare he presume that he knows what such a great witch has foreseen or observed? How dare he presume to know my ability level or what I am capable of or not capable of? And how dare he presume before the semester to tell me to do or not do something? Indeed, I will investigate those woods.
End scene. And then he lets you out, and that's
Yeah.
the end of that scene. Was there any last?
And she was gripping the book that she was holding. Of course, Professor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's his head, and you're gonna snap it.
Can we do the preview or like the catch up of Professor Ellis investigating the woods and sort of leave it in a cliffhanger of what
Yeah,
happens?
we can do that.
Right.
Did you have a scene as well, or?
Yes, but we
Okay.
can do that first.
Okay, let's do that, and then we'll do scene. Oh, did you two discuss something while I was
no.
okay?
It's just like, oh, the woods.
Okay. Okay. So, Professor Ellis is sort of tracking this sort of flow of magical energy, but it's almost starts to feel more like a tide pulling things in, like a riptide almost. And she wants to ground herself more, so she takes off her shoes so she can be very grounded to the earth, to really feel it, because she's worried that she might get pulled through a current. And she's sort of investigating. She has lots of little baubles with her to give her senses about what's happening magically around her. And she's trying to take all this data. And she doesn't realize she's so preoccupied. She's not even thinking she's that close to anything yet. She trips a trap. And she immediately slips, essentially through a crack in space and time, into the seam between where the forest is its current size and where the forest is growing and expanding. And it immediately plunges her into a space where there is literally no sensory information. No sight, no sound, no smell, no even sense of where your own body is. Like, she can't even feel if she were to move her fingers together, nothing. And right before that happens, she sees all of the objects around her sort of shaking with this intense magical energy and bursting, including her wand. And that's sort of burned into her memory, but it's fading quickly as a sense of sensory experience is leaving her.
I feel like we see something as well as the audience.
Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to do. When she puffs out of sort of existence, Letitia walks slowly out of the shadows. She's got her parasol. She puts her parasol down, and you see her fangs come out, and she disapparates.
Ooh.
Looking straight at the space where Professor Ellis was.
Yes. Okay, and what was Persephone's scene?
Persephone.
Yes. Yes.
So she's getting prepared for the gala. She heads downtown, and she makes a few ingredient purchases and some other things, and she heads back to the house. And she does two things. One, she heads back into the closet. It's kind of weird. I don't know why, but she feels like the closet is where good potions happen for her. You know, there's like a place where you're creative, and that's the servants just look at her like, oh great, that again. And she makes two potions. I assume we'll use the resolve tokens when the potions are used.
Yeah.
One of them is essentially a glamour, a lot like what Alexandra was doing, to give her sort of a Grecian goddess thing going on for the gala, and the other is a truth serum.
Okay.
And so the other things that she did to make the truth serum more powerful, based on the inspiration from Alexander, she bought a few romance novels and ripped a couple of pages out of one of them to use as ingredients in the True Serum potions. And then the last thing she does is wraps up a little package and writes a letter and leaves it in Alexander's room. The contents of the packages are there is a romance novel without the pages ripped out. There is a green velour jacket with leaf embroidery like the one she saw in her first dream, and a letter expressing her pride in his recent achievements. And she places those, wishing him well in his pursuit of the lady.
Is the next thing we're doing going
The
to
letter
be
writing?
the gala?
We'll do epistolatory
letter.
letter writing, and then we can do some more scenes before the gala if anyone has anything they're going to do to set up. But I think we'll imagine it all kind of like day of setting up for the gala. Yep. So everyone ready to move on to the epistolary? Epistolary.
Just, it's okay.
that one. Letter writing. So with that, we
We
are
learn
now
just
in
the
our
way
we don't do rumors and scandals because we're in the last round. Womp womp womp. But we do letter writing.
Does that mean that the ones that we're fading are gone now?
Yes, I guess so technically.
You might want to double check because I wasn't.
We'll check. I'll check. Double check. Are we about to take a break after
Yeah,
this?
we'll be
double
taking
check
a
during the break.
second. There's only one on there anyway that was faded and didn't have a token. So, who has a letter they want to write?
Do we do reputation or do we?
Oh, we do reputation first. Thank you. So let's do our reputation, and then we'll do our rumors and scandals. So everyone, check your reputation section, and tell me if you think you gained or lost any.
I feel like
Uh-huh.
I acted in obedience to society's conventions despite considerable hardship in doing so, in being so damn polite to that woman, and also in
she's your
using
boss.
using all of her ridiculous buzzwords.
I'll allow it. What was your tag?
What is my tag?
What was your positive reputation?
Yeah. There were some suggestions on here somewhere. Were there? Okay,
Yeah,
there we go.
probably. You already
Oh
had
my
influential
God.
and reserved.
Influential, reserved. What is a word for like a team player?
Collaborative.
Collaborator. There we go. Collaborator.
And that is your third positive reputation tag. So you get to pick one of your 2 positive reputation effects.
I'm going to go with condemnation.
Okay.
So for everybody at home, condemnation is your criticisms and rebukes hold particular weight, and unless it conflicts with their objectives, connections will take your side.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sounded more fun.
I mean, it sounds good. It fits. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Reputation up or down?
I definitely think mine went up,
Okay.
actually. Because both acted in service of duty or morality in a way that compromised your desires, and acted in obedience to society's conventions despite considerable hardship in doing so.
You didn't yell at the professor. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your tag?
I'm thinking determined or resolute.
I like resolute. Let's do that. That is also your third
That's
tag, so you can pick a one of your 2 positive.
Can I pick on the break? Because I'm not sure.
I believe that I acted in the service of duty in a way that compromised my desires because I may be developing a fondness for young Alexander, but clearly his interests are towards Ms. Periwinkle.
Okay.
And rather than throw pot shots towards her or be distracting in any way, I merely supported my charge's desires. Also, that's more appropriate than anything when you're hired to teach.
Gently stroking his
Just like,
pectorals.
put your shirt back on.
Like Peggy Carter is.
Yeah.
Touch.
I wanna. Okay, what's your positive
I
reputation?
think I'll go with ambitious.
Ambitious, and you also will be able to pick one of the reputation effects. And last but not least, do you think Alexander's reputation went up or down,
So this one, I need
or neither?
help to decide which one it
Yeah.
was. I feel like me wrestling the worm was a duty sort of morality thing where I felt like I was ethically obligated to help them in accordance with their customs, even though it was embarrassing. And where I feel like, oh, I wanted to impress the Inquisitor, and maybe I embarrassed myself, but I felt like I needed to. Or it could just be I acted in contravention of society's conventions.
I think it's that one.
That one.
Yeah,
All right.
because I don't think Alexander was embarrassed by it until, like, I think that's a thing to me that he's like, naturally I will do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just the problem is that society expects him not to.
Yeah.
Not that he did it thinking that it was a problem.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I will gain a negative tag.
Okay.
Then.
What's your negative tag?
Wild.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That's my boy.
All right. So, that will now bring us to the epistolary. That is true. Actually, I hate to break it to you, but the wizard college goes up because all of
Damn
y'all
it.
are still the wizard faction. However, you are the only member of the local witches association, and your reputation went up. So that's
crossed
a
into
1.
authoritative.
There's no one.
No one
who
went to 2.
Went down, and then you actually also. That's a +1. Sorry, I should say. So the leader acted publicly in accordance with society's expectations. So that would also be another 1. So overall, your influence goes up by 1.
Yeah, to 2, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Because if you're at 1, you go up
Yeah.
to 2, which means you're authoritative. Which means you could technically create a decree this round. You just won't be able to ever pass it. Because you have to make it and then pass it next round. But you are a society of 2, I guess, technically. Because you count as a member of the society for the purposes of
Well,
creating
what
and passing
about
a
Miss
decree.
Geraldine Stone?
That's true. Actually, we all count from that perspective. Yeah, because it should be illegal.
So does that mean I get to pick one of these things on the end?
Oh yes, you do. You can be official, feared, or right.
You know what? I feel like with the kind of PR that the association has been doing in regards to this whole
Yeah.
like wands thing and everything, I feel like the proletariat is on our side.
Yep. So you're
And
right.
so yeah, we're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, the college is official, not necessarily right.
We're
But
right.
you, make a decree. Go for it.
Make
Do
a
it.
decree.
Even if you can't vote for it, I want to know what decree. We call this meeting to order. Genevieve.
Geraldine!
Geraldine. Sorry, Maureen. Nope, I'm sorry, she's dead. Irene, that's me. Rebecca. Felicity.
Matilda. Her name is Matilda.
I'm doing the. Oh, I'm calling roll.
You looked at her, so I wasn't sure.
I was calling roll.
Elaine says she's busy. She's eating plums.
Oh, okay. I'll mark her as absent. She abstains from voting. Yes. What decree did you have for us?
Beck. I would like to decree that that I'm going to do this after the break.
Meeting adjourned.
It should be illegal to call a meeting and adjourn it that fast. It should be illegal.
That should be the decree.
It should be. It won't be.
All right. So the epistolary letter writing. Who had a letter they wanted to pen? Begin, please.
I'm gonna write one to the Inquisitor. It's Alexander.
Okay.
So, just to be polite, I want to extend a formal invitation to the party, and also include a handwritten note in there.
Okay. Is it like signed with glitter? Like.
It sparkles. I think it's supposed to look like the sort of letters as she reads it and goes along will sort of become gold and glitter in front of her.
Right. Okay.
So it's a very like sophisticated charm. I'm getting really good at these letter charms. I've been practicing. And I write it, Madam Inquisitor. I don't know what else to call her. I want to be
Lady Hot Stuff.
respectful. You are a most impressive person, and I feel lucky to have made your acquaintance. I am sorry if my sense of connection with the local wildlife was in any way improper, and if I offended you with my actions. And I don't have more to say because the worms are not quite ready to talk yet. They're consulting among themselves. Oh wait, this letter's not about that. Anyway, I would just like to formally invite you. I like have a lot of things scratched out because I just keep going off on tangents, and then I'm like, wait, no. I would like to formally invite you to our ball. Here's all of the included information that is necessary. But please come in whatever makes you feel the most comfortable. Don't worry about the dress code. You can wear a judge's uniform or whatever it is that's official. I don't know how that works. And anyway, I would love to talk with you more about your job. You seem most interesting. And then I just kind of hastily write my name.
Beautiful. Okay. Does anyone else have another letter?
I will write one. The letter that I left with
do you want to read us what it is?
Yeah. Gift. Dearest Alexander, I just wanted to commend you on your progress recently. I was particularly impressed not only with your potion's work, but the truthfulness of your respect for nature and other creatures in your interactions with the worms, though they may have caused your mother a bit of a heart attack to learn of the conservatory. I just hope that you will be able to continue being true to yourself regardless of what other people think. There are many ways to be successful in the world of magic. I look forward to being a continued resource for you in your studies. And then in the postscript, she writes, I've enclosed a few things for you that I found during my travels. I remember thinking about this jacket, and it just sort of appeared during my shopping. Also, I found a romance novel that I think you might want to use as an ingredient. This is an excellent author, and I think it may really produce some excellent results. And it's a good read, too, if you're interested in those things. Yes. It kind of like squishes. It like squishes into the bottom of the page, like that last bit went longer than she intended.
While I'm reading this, I have to double check several times who sent it to me because I can't tell if it's my tutor or my girlfriend. And I'm just like, wait. And I have to I'm like reading it and I'm like, this seems really nice. And then I'm like, wait a second. And I have to look at the envelope again and I'm like, wait, okay. And then I go back. And so I'm a little confused. It's maybe
Interesting.
Felicity will, of course, write a very formal but polite invitation to the Dr. Leopold Ormiston, who's probably going to be very confused.
A little confused.
but he is going to get another invitation to the local Witches Association.
These witches are terribly
Gala.
disorganized. I don't understand why they can't keep track of who they have and haven't invited to their own parties. Women, am I right?
And then she's going to write another letter to her sister, Faye Green, at the whatever the residence is that you're
Poppington.
at. Poppington.
Poppington.
At the Poppington residence, whatever highfalutin name they've given to their house, because rich people give names to their houses in this time. And she enchants the letter so that it will only, the writing will only appear when it is in the hands of her sister. The letter will essentially, what the hell is your name? Faye. Hello, Faye. I hope that you are doing well. I hope that your studies are going well. I hope to see you at the gala that I'm going to be hosting at my ostentatiously named home. And then she's going to like, on the second page, there are some things that I feel that you need to be made aware of as a member of the college, which I have recently learned, and I wanted to make sure that you are aware of. And then she's going to talk about the rumors that
you
about,
already know about.
yeah, about
She already
Leopold.
knows about.
The rumors about Leopold and her concerns, and then also tell her about the Inquisitor's desire to merge the two factions. And that she is I have the utmost respect for where it is that you have decided to do your studies. However, it is, if the two were to merge, it would be under my most strenuous objection. I think it is incredibly important that we have options should the young ladies of Haverford-upon-Sea wish to matriculate and learn the magical arts elsewhere. And I hope that I can have your support in this, dear sister. Sincerely, with love, your baby sister.
Do you have a letter as well?
Yes.
Okay, I have one for you from Jean. Jean sends a letter to Persephone. And it's not addressed, it's just addressed to the beautiful lady. I don't know. I feel like he probably had a name for you. It's like the little finch or something like that. The little bell.
So clever.
My
Petit
Mon
chou-chou.
petit chou.
Mon petit chou. You are a delight. You are beauty. You are everything I have missed. And truly, I am so sorry for all of the hurt I caused you. But also, you are not wrong. I did come here for a reason I have not fully disclosed. I had heard whisperings from the dragons and other creatures that there is something emerging in Haverford-upon-Sea. It is dangerous, and I do not know everything about it, but as a expert in magical creatures and women, I felt it important to come here on the behest of my superiors in the French government or something. I don't know. I am very important somewhere. But I am foreign. Letters are hard. I am writing in a French accent, but I am speaking English to you. You are so important to me, but I would hate for something bad to happen to you. And somehow I think the Allerton Pickerings are all wrapped up in this. So perhaps... well, be cautious. Something may be coming, and I will be there to help you rescue yourself because you are an amazing woman who can do all of the things that she wants to possibly do. Yours!
Just invited herself to the camp. Okay.
I've noticed a theme with your French NPCs.
Since they are experts.
Not gonna deal with that right now.
All two of them. Yes. All two of them. I mean, in fairness, one of them was evil, so this one less so. I probably done other French NPCs, but I don't remember.
My second letter is brief. It is
Okay.
a forged letter. Letitia forges a letter from Esmeralda Eldest to Headmaster Leopold Witherston, simply stating that she's fallen ill on her journey for more information, and she may be unreachable for several
Letitia
days.
sends this?
Letitia says this as
Oh.
Esmeralda.
Oh.
So clever.
Excellent. Sorry, I missed a couple
Please
of the names at the
excuse.
beginning.
Yes. So it's confusing with the forged letters. So Letitia writes as Professor Esmeralda, who fell in the little crevice, and so I know the school quarter is starting soon. I have fallen ill on my research, and I may be unreachable for several days.
I have at least one letter to write, probably two.
Okay.
First, Faye is going to write to Professor Ellis. Just something very short. My greatly esteemed Professor Ellis, I feel it my duty as a loyal student to warn you that some of your colleagues have spoken ill of your what's the phrase of your
Reputation.
no like teaching habits on the off, not extracurricular because it's not, but it's
Avocational?
like, I don't know, whatever, on your assigning of extra credit over the summer. Whatever.
Academic choices.
Yeah. And feel it my duty to alert you to these occasions. I myself am perfectly capable and willing to undertake the most dangerous of tasks in the pursuit of knowledge. Sincerely, Fakery.
And you deliver this to, or to Professor Ellis. Like it's addressed to her.
I probably give it to her Griffin
Okay.
to give to her.
He's still following you around. I think the Griffin's gone. I don't think you can find him.
Then I would just
Yeah.
magic it to her.
But, yeah.
You know, whatever the usual secure delivery method is, owl or
Yeah.
pigeon or whatever.
So you just grab a bird, strap it on, tap the bird on the
Magic
head,
the
and
bird.
it goes somewhere.
And it goes, oh, okay, I have a mission.
Can I spend a token to have it come back, return to sender?
I was gonna spend a token to have Letitia get it.
How does that work? If there's
Well, in
two-
this instance, I would be. We
Give
could
to me,
discuss. Do you have a strong preference?
I wanted to let her, make her feel like something's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go with that then. So,
Like-
in which case, do you accept that token?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you
Gimme,
get
gimme.
the token.
Give for me token for the good.
And you will receive the letter will be returned back. The bird reels as it comes back and it just like lands in front of you and like blinks a few times and the letter is still attached to its leg and that is the
And then it just
the magical
flies
sign.
off
Yeah,
and I'm like-
just shakes it off and that's the magical sign for return to sender. I have a final letter to wrap us out with unless anyone had one last one.
I do have one more.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Do you
and then
want
I'll-
you
yeah.
want yours to be last?
Yeah, it's
So she is going to, especially after having gotten that, she is going to write a return letter to her dear baby sister and saying, my dearest baby sister, I you know that since we were but small children, I have always wanted to attend the Wizard College. But I must confess, as my second year at this school draws nearer, for the first time I have doubts in that. For the first time, were there somewhere better to study, I would consider it. My sincerest love. Your big sis, Faye.
Okay.
And she magics it right to her with leaves and stuff.
I like it. So everybody in the town, every household, will receive a letter. And it is from, well, it is more of an announcement in a leaflet which says, "Dearest citizens of Heatherford upon Sea, it has come to our attention that there is a significant magical threat in the woods located outside of your dear town. Though we cannot require it, it is advised that all individuals retreat to a safe location while this magical threat is better understood and dealt with in order to ensure that every member of this community is properly cared for." Signed, the local Witches Association, subsigned, Amelia Periwinkle, High Inquisitor General. that
Whoa!
is where we will take our break. That resolve token. So, with that, I do have a couple of donations to read out before we take our break, and then we will go refresh ourselves, you will refresh yourselves, and we will come back to find out just how this nonsense will wrap itself up. So first is from, William TW with $10. Last tip. Thanks for this awesome show and all the no less awesome shows that preceded it. Thank you for all you do in keeping track of the wiki. So if you have any questions about what's going on in this show, William has done an amazing job curating the wiki for this show, all of the past shows that we have had. So if you're watching any of them on VODs or YouTube, you can catch all of the information there. It's awesome. Be Right UK with $20. Thank you all for everything. I'll miss the channel, but I'm so glad I don't have to miss all of you. Yeah, that's right. We don't cease to exist. Fun fact: streamers continue to exist even when we're not streaming.
It's true.
I
What?
know.
No.
Oh, except Lizzie. we just turn her off and the hologram disappears.
Yeah. My Twitter is sentient.
It's actually kind of terrifying, and I think Facebook or Twitter, someone's gonna purchase it to try and understand Google. I don't know. Anyway, from Hon Regiford Narwhal Esquire. Oh dear, I must confess that I found myself unable to observe these lovely people from the colonies last week, and as I was in transit from other holdings, do please enjoy these sesame snap biscuits. I believe they will go well with a nice Darjeeling. Da. Thank you. Thank you, Hon Regiford Narwhal Esquire. And finally, Keen456. Thanks for the great stories and memories. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who donated. We're going to go take a quick break. We will be right back. You should do the same thing, and we'll see you for the final thrilling conclusion of A Manner of Speaking. The times, the charm. Hello. And welcome back to A Manner of Speaking. Third time's the charm. We are about to conclude what has been quite the eventful story so far, as we bring ourselves to a conclusion of this Jane Austen-inspired RPG, except also with magic. As a reminder, if you would like to get a copy of this game yourself, one, this base game and this expansion are already available, but there is currently a Kickstarter happening. They are kicking the start of the printed version of this expansion, as well as 2 additional expansions, and I believe through that you can also acquire the previous printed version and all of the excess and other materials that you can get access to, like the deck of gentry, I believe it is called, and other such lovely things. For example, this one, the Good Society base deck, or the Good Society book. So go check that out over on Kickstarter. It's by Story Brewers. They are wonderful human beings that we have had the pleasure of working with, and you too can acquire yourself a most magical copy of this most magical RPG. The link is now in chat. Thank you, Effie. So with that, let's very quickly reintroduce who all our characters are, and then we'll jump straight into the gala, because I imagine we've got a little bit of wrapping up to do before we're done, and I want to make sure we have enough time for our final epistolary, in which our characters write their epilogue. Is that still wrong? Epistolary. Epistolary.
We love you just the way you are.
You don't even need me. I can just...
Don't leave us, Lauren.
I think you can handle it on your own. You know what? I'm out. I'm done. I'm done.
Excellent.
Lauren's like, if I can't be a dowager, I'm out.
Took it from me. Who are you?
Hello, I am Anna Geeks. I'm a full-time variety broadcaster who likes baking and RPGs. I am playing Faye Green is my main character, the older sister of this wonderful person's character. Younger older sister, yep. And also her bestie, Matilda Balfour.
It's my turn.
Yes. You've done this before, haven't you?
Hello everyone.
twice.
I am Elizabeth Bold, a full-time Twitter screeder. And I am playing Lady Felicity Allerton Pickering, whose voice is changing rapidly from scene to scene. And is also the head of the local Witches Association. And also, on the side, I sometimes play Elaine Merritt, though she has been quite neglected. And is the best friend of Persephone Finch, and was styled in a fashion of Brienne of Tarth meets Gentleman Jack, which is a show you should watch. Gentleman Jack. Anyway, continue.
Is that your degree?
And then no, shall I tell what my degree is?
No, we can
Okay.
start with a scene, because
Okay.
Lady Felicity will have received a letter, and I want to see her reaction to it too. So,
Hello, my name is Cheryl Platts, aka Muppet Aphrodite. I am a user experience designer by day, a gamer, streamer, and actress by night. I am playing Miss Persephone Finch, a tutor to the Allerton Pickering family. I am also playing, and by way of shortcuts, you can tell by the dark color, one mysterious Letitia Elfin Wessex, who may have just revealed herself to be a vampire, and is also Alexander's girlfriend, although she has not been seen in a little while, so we'll see how that turns out.
meddling.
Yeah. I think that's all the things.
Hello, my name is Aria. You can find me on Twitter at Genki Soda. I have the same job as Lizzie, spend all my day on Twitter, and lots of threads.
Yelling about pop culture.
Yeah, no spoilers. Gosh. Really, though, spoilers are the only things that keep me from doing drugs. You know, like, if I get spoilers, they encourage me from doing drugs, or encourage me to, because then I'm just like, oh man, all the novelty's gone. I need it somewhere else, so...
Tag your spoilers, or Arya will do drugs.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. That's what happens when you're highly novelty seeking, right? That makes sense. Just don't spoil things.
all right.
And today I am playing myself. This is the closest home character I've ever played. Alexander Abednego Allerton Pickering, the lovable, distractible puppy dog idiot.
Who's
son.
apparently like huffing glue in the back.
Unicorn tears.
Sorry.
And kisses.
Sniffing unicorn kisses.
Yeah, making out with unicorn maybe.
No, don't do that. That's gross. I'm Random Tuesday. You can find me everywhere on the internet. Random Tuesday. My pronouns are she, her, and I play everyone else in this town, and also Jean Dubois is important somewhere. But hopefully he's important to Miss Persephone Finch. Okay. So with that,
He ran away on Persephone, so
You know,
all his
he was-
problems are his own.
he had important, probably government-related business to do. It's unclear.
Convenient.
Yeah, well, you know. He's French. Sorry.
Apologies to all of the French
To
people
William
in our
specifically.
To
audience.
you, William, specifically.
Yeah.
Williams.
Oh, yeah.
So, what has happened so far? Lots and lots of things, but the Too Long didn't watch. We have two factions. We have the College of Wizards and the local Witches Association, and they're butting heads. There is an Inquisitor here to investigate the fact that it really did see all of the local factions of witches, and she's concerned by the lack of numbers in the local Witches Association. We know that the head of the College of Wizards is a philanderer and generally a terrible person. Women, am I right? And he's the worst. Also, there's probably a clan of vampires that is currently summoning something in the forest, and one of the professors has disappeared into it after investigating a lot of strange runes. Which brings us to the day of the gala. But actually, I think what I want us to see is maybe first thing in the morning, and we'll start with that. But
Do some
today is the gala day. The gala will probably start maybe late evening or late afternoon and kind of go into the evening. It's intended to be a mellow and then raucous affair, sort of, liquor people up over time to get them nice and jolly before you really dive into the festivities. And, it's later in the day to appeal to a younger audience because, as we all know, the youth, they're out at the night times and not during the day times. And so we can see kind of what everyone's preparations are for this day of the gala. And we have perhaps we begin at the morning, and at that time that everyone in this town has received the announcement from Amelia Periwinkle suggesting that it is in their best interest to leave the town while this magical threat is dealt with. Now, it's not an official decree, it certainly isn't a requirement, but you receive a copy of this letter, it sort of magically appears, and I would like us to see the momentary reaction. Like, what does Lady...
I mean, I will
Do
spend,
it,
I will spend a
please do.
monologue token for that.
Okay. So, to set the scene, Lady Allerton Pickering, sleeping, her bonnet, her very respectable night attire, gets up, is like, has her coffee or whatever the hell they had. Tea has a little bit of tea, has a little toast point. Is handed her tray with all of her letters. Starts sitting there and then boring. What is this? And then she reads it.
Do we have that moment, like, when Hades' hair gets super,
Yes.
fiery in
Yes.
Hercules?
If you've ever seen Hercules by Disney, when Hades gets all pissed off and he turns red, and that's essentially what happens, except, old lady version.
Is that sound audible throughout the whole house?
Yes, definitely. There is a screech through the whole house. And as for my internal monologue, what is it that she's trying to do to me? Is she trying to ruin everything that I've worked for? Curse this child, this infant, barely out of swaddling clothing. What is it that she thinks that she can do here? This is my home. It's my association, and she has dared to bring this onto there's nothing even really going on. I've heard some rumors about some vampires, but who cares about a few vampires? On Honestly, just don't go into the bloody forest. It's not that hard. You just leave the magical creatures to their affairs and we come to our affairs. Oh, I should make a decree about that. This is ridiculous. What am I going to do? I must call Matilda. I must send a note to Matilda.
I have a very important question. Was this
Yeah.
actually an internal monologue? Or do we catch a scene of like the servant standing outside of the room and just muffled yelling coming from the other side of the door?
Yes,
Then we cut back inside to you pacing around the room.
Yes, and then she calls out to her butler,
there's, like, a
whatever
spell.
his name is. Alfred,
Yes,
bring me my writing materials.
Yes, of course.
I overhear the commotion, and I approach the door and Lady Allerton Pickering, I might have overheard that you are planning on addressing a reply to the auditor, the inquisitor.
I had not yet gotten there, but possibly, yes.
I'd like to offer my services in speaking her language, so to speak.
Oh, you understand all of that magical language that she uses, that foreign tongue.
I have a minor in magical business administration.
Oh, quite. Capital. Yes, I would like to address a letter to her, and if you could provide some assistance, it would be most appreciated. Thank you so much, darling. My dear lady. It must be delicate, but also make very clear that it is not in the interests of the Magical Association to be reactionary, unduly reactionary, and that perhaps that because she's from the city, that she is not used to these associations with magical creatures. But we, of course, in the country are far more used to it, and it's really of no bother.
Of course.
Thank you so much, darling. I have so much to do for today, for tonight. If anybody shows up, I've got the vapors.
Alfred comes over.
You give me my salts, give me my smelling
Yes,
salts.
all right, yes.
Shall I briefly address the letter?
Sure, yes.
To the Inquisitor General of the Local Witches Association, we have received your recent memo regarding dangerous conditions, and we find it unfortunate that you have misread the the trends within our community. I know that your particular management approach maximizes daily active witches, or the Tao. But here we focus more on quality of engagement. We believe that fewer, more engaged witches lead to better results. And because our witches are so engaged, many of them have declined to heed your request. I'm sure this is not malicious at all, but merely stems from your inability to read the local trends and local consumer sentiment before issuing your marketing plan.
You don't understand a word of that. It must be good.
That was beautiful. And I'm so sorry that you have to know all of that. And you enchant it and find a bird and tap the bird on the head and it flies off.
You don't even know the depths of Cheryl's badassery, honestly.
This is Miss Peach.
Do you remain? You wrote to Matilda. Matilda is summoned, perhaps?
Well, yes, we have to prepare for the events. Once.
Give me a moment.
I'm so sorry. I'm making you constantly put those things on.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Matilda.
Don't mind at all.
I figured they're neighbors, which,
Yeah,
I mean, they're
yeah.
estates,
But-
so it
but
still takes a bit. She
it's
still
still
gets
like-
in her carriage
yeah.
and whatnot because she's old.
And you're only out of breath because you left from the carriage up the stairs.
Well,
like, you had to
yeah.
run down, like, walk quickly down the
This
driveway.
woman is 37. She's ancient.
She's decrepit.
I mean,
Practically dead.
basically, last legs.
Oh.
Dear Matilda, I'm so glad you're here.
I came as soon as I.
Yes, have a seat. Have a seat. Come in to the parlor. Have a seat. Oh, Alfred, we're going to need some tea.
Yes,
Some
all right.
cakes,
Yeah.
cakes, some breakfast items, some delicious little brekkies.
Oh, yes.
Some
Sounds lovely. Yes, breakfast.
Second brekkie.
The poached eggs. Cream spinach.
I brought you, there's the soldiers are here to have with your hard-boiled eggs, and then you also have there's blood pudding, and let me list off other things, sausages.
Yes, sausages,
that are
yes.
particularly British.
Yes, some sausages and some toast points.
Yes. No, but the
It's
toast
very
is cold because we put it in this rack so it doesn't get soggy, but it will get cold very quickly. The like 3 British people watching know exactly what I'm talking
I
about.
know exactly. It's like a little file folder thing.
It's a little fire folder for your toast. But your toast always gets cold. Bread.
But it'll be crunchy.
And a fried tomato. Or tomato, depending on if your son's here or not.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So we have already sent off a letter
Oh,
to the
excellent.
Inquisitor
Me?
that we've already sent off a letter to the Inquisitor. Miss Finch assisted me in the writing of it. She speaks that foul language that the
Oh.
Inquisitor knows. And we must prepare and hopefully people will show up. I think that we need to gather, however, just before the festivities begin, we need to gather the association to finalize, of course, the decor, and also,
Quite right, yeah.
I think that we
Perhaps clean up the conservatory, yes.
should. Oh yes, indeed, and also, I think
All of
that
us
we
working together.
we
yeah.
should release a
Fine.
decree
Mm.
that the that the local magical beasts should be, when not imminently threatening individuals, should be left to their own devices. We should not be
No
not be
meddling.
meddling in the affairs
No,
of dragons.
No.
Honestly.
No, too crunchy.
Honestly. No. Honestly. Quite. Not meddle in the affairs of dragons.
Agreed, yes.
Dragonflies overhead. John is writing it.
So after they have some breakfast, the preparations that Felicity will be making in her grand receiving hall or whatever it's called, where the party is going to be. Of course, we're going to have all manner of delicious food items. And then some lovely magical decorations, some floating banners and candles, and like a whole Hogwarts vibe thing going on.
Yes. Very nice.
However,
Very wizard school. Wait.
going to no, not quite. However, she is also going to put out a very off in the gentleman's room, like where the gentleman would be smoking later in the evening, there will of course be some alcoholic refreshments where they are intended to imbibe very responsibly and only at certain hours. However, in the main area where the food is and the non-alcoholic punches and all of the things like that, there will also be a very clearly labeled alcoholic refreshment, like an alcoholic punch, something very strong, but very clearly labeled. But it will be enchanted so that but it will be enchanted so that everyone at the party just ignores it, except for Leopold Wiverson is the only one who can see it and make a choice He's not being forced to, but
No,
make
no,
a choice.
I see what
if
you're
he
doing.
wishes.
He is the only one who is aware of its existence.
Yes. And everyone else, it's just kind of like a blind spot.
Very tricky.
The table just looks like a little bit shorter. Would you like to pay a resolve token for this to be successful?
Very
Yes.
Harry Potter.
Okay. As the representative of Dr. Leopold Wiston, I will ask you a question. As you do this magic, I accept and take this token. How, I like this one, how does an unintended side effect occur? As you get this over, they make the punch and you enchant it.
So, like, something that might happen, like, right there or something?
It
or?
could be right there, but it could also be something that maybe you become aware of later on. Like this could affect something at the party or the gala later on.
I mean, part of me wants to make it so that Alexander can also see it.
That sounds like an unintended side effect. I will
That's
take
what
it.
That Felicity also has a blind spot to it once it's set up.
Yeah.
And Alexander absolutely does not.
Yep. I'm
And
okay
it
with that.
smells very good.
Yeah, it's clearly labeled. Like you obviously are not compelled to drink from it unless you think your character would be
I was going
be
to say
interested
anybody
in
in
it.
the
But
family.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
Can
So
see it,
so yes,
because
I have
you
made it so
made
that
it.
I can see it,
And
but
that has the
unintended consequences.
anyone in the family.
The
so
family.
Faye,
Yes.
Alexander, and I think now by
Your intent.
extension, are you considered part of the family, or which one did you go for?
Yeah, we can do the equals one,
Okay.
so that the benefits of the family are extended
Yep.
to me. And
So by
something-
extension, Persephone Finch can also see it.
so Persephone, seeing slips the truth serum into the bottle.
Yeah, yes.
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 I assume I have to spend a result token
Yes,
to
you
make
do.
that work.
Would you
but
like it to be
I
successful?
gladly spend it.
Okay, go ahead and put it in there. So as you,
amazing.
because we haven't paid the tokens for this one, so I think let's go for this particular potion that you made. What does, as you make this potion, what does this magic demand from you, or what does it make you promise? Like when you do this truth potion, and you make this potion, like we kind of flash back to when you were in the closet making your potion.
Well, the last time a potion asked me to promise something, I promised to put Alexander's needs over my own, so I can't do that again.
Okay.
I think this one is asking for reciprocity, so that if direct questions are asked of me, I cannot demur. I must answer them truthfully as well.
Okay. Okay. As long as until that
I
potion,
can,
like,
I can,
peters
like,
out.
no,
Like,
I
you
can
can
like
choose
hide.
not- yeah.
But if someone asks me a question,
Yeah, like,
I
could you
can't
do
like
this?
dissemble.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I might have to spend a resolve token for this. I want to have it be that my darling mother always makes all the sweets and stuff invisible, except for the ones that are like carefully crafted for me to eat, because I don't have any control when I get sweet things, and this punch is very sweet. And I've never had alcohol before because she always just makes it so that I don't know it's there, and when I see people drinking it, it looks like they're drinking water, and I just have no idea. So I'm like,
Oh, this must be for me.
yes.
I think that's probably a resolve token that Lizzie would need to accept.
So, what is it that you're asking? That a bunch of the like sweets and things have been essentially hidden, blind spotted.
Yeah,
from your
that this
view?
is a charm that you've used to prevent Alexander from overindulging
But
in
this-
the past.
Punch thing that you've done, or the like alcohol that you want the headmaster to get drunk on, is now, because it's also revealed to me, and there's this
So
like
now everything is revealed to you.
everything.
I think it's the idea that Alexander's going to interpret this as something that he can have.
As an invitation.
As an invitation, because typically if he can see it, he's
Yes.
allowed to have it. Whereas things have been hidden from him in the past.
Yeah, sure, I'll take that.
Okay. This has got very, very complicated very quickly.
Just a simple
I
bottle
mean-
of Coke.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is your preparations. You set up all the decorations. You create this punch. what are all of the other characters? What is everyone else up to during the day for these preparations?
Oh, I'm helping.
You're obviously Matilda's helping. Is Faye up to anything? Persephone? Do we see
Persephone-
Letitia anywhere?
Well, Persephone takes the other potion that she drafted, which is the glamour draft, and consumes it. And so she's trying very hard to catch a certain person's attention.
Oh, who could that
I don't
possibly
know.
be?
Could be a couple of people. So her goal is to look like a Greek goddess tonight, like glowy and drapey dress and all the things. And yes, no one's seen her look like this before. As for Letitia, she is not seen in the build-up to the party.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna be doing some magic in my room.
Good. Yeah.
I think I have to pay a resolve token because I want it to go well.
Okay.
Basically, I'm going to be trying to contact Bacchus, the Greek god of parties, because I want this party to go really well. And so I've drawn like a big sigil, and I looked it up in a book, and I'm like, I totally got this.
So you're summoning a Greek god.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. To do what? What would you like to have happen?
To just make this a really awesome party. To make it lit.
You want this party to be lit?
Yes.
Cool. Pay that resolve token, and then how does an unintended side effect occur?
I greatly underestimated how Bacchus would interpret that.
Cool.
I just thought it was going to mean that like everything tasted good and
Yeah.
there's lively conversation
Yeah.
and things are really great.
Nah,
and
people gonna get lit.
and it's just going to be, everyone's going to have a splendid time.
Did you think they were gonna be really into literature? Like, they're all going to be carefully reading poetry.
I'm not sure. I bet I basically was just like Bacchus will be like a genie who will just grant people's truest wishes about the party.
Right? Yeah.
Because I was like, well,
Sure,
this will
all
just make
the night.
everyone happier. Because all the things I've read about this god is just that like everyone has a great time, and I'm just like, well, that means something different for everyone. So everyone will just have their perfect party.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm summoning him to do, to make the perfect party.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's-
But it's his definition of a perfect party, which is Bacchus
Yeah.
and the Bache, who's ready to like murder some people tonight. Cool. So I think at some point you will get a response back, Lady Felicity, from and actually everyone in the town will receive another magical letter which says it just is very short. In response to the previous letter you received, while your actions are completely your choice, the local witch association rescinds its concern based on an understanding of the current status of the projected outcomes of this evening's fourth quarter.
Oh my god.
Please resume your regular activities, but if you do have particular safety concerns, contact your local witches association representative, take herself to a safe location, and we will address the situation accordingly. Sincerely, High Inquisitioner Amelia Periwinkle. And then you receive a personal note which says, "My apologies, I hope you do not believe I overstepped my bounds. I simply wanted to ensure that the safety of the people were taken into account, and while you have passed on some important information to me, I had some of my own to follow up on in regards to your household. While I am still scrutinizing this information, do understand that I was not aware of this community's engagement levels, and thank you for bringing the appropriate metrics to my attention so that I could judge what action should be taken next accordingly."
Miss Finch! Yes? Could you please interpret this letter for me? Was it done or was it more?
There's probably a little bit more, but it's all jargon buzzwords.
She is embarrassed at being perceived as out of touch with her customer base, and she is attempting to pivot and adopt a new paradigm of engagement. You win.
Oh, yes, excellent. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. It's fun for me too.
I'm glad it's fun for someone.
Any other preparations for this evening's festivities?
Yes.
What is Faye up to? Where do we find her?
Faye is probably accepting a certain amount of indulgence from Lady Isabella Poppington and their industrial stores.
Yeah.
She's gearing up for an adventure.
So we just need to like.
She's like, yep, good. Putting them in. She's got like a bandolier going on
Yes.
with potions, and she's got like a wand holster that she can. Yeah, no, she's gearing up for an
Backup wand
adventure.
holster.
Totally forgetting about the party that
Yeah.
night, or like it's in her mind, but she's like, I'll be back in time.
Yeah,
I'll
obviously.
be back in time.
Obviously, you'll
Yeah.
have plenty of time. Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
then maybe she accidentally does pop into the Fae for just a moment in the Fae.
Yeah.
And
Takes
loses a couple
well,
hours.
Yeah.
And,
Takes
yeah.
a moment longer than she
Yeah.
was expecting.
Mhm.
Whoops.
Yep.
Alexander.
I just want there to be a lot more guests at the party than were intended. That's all.
I mean, you summoned Bauschus.
Yeah.
but, like, don't worry.
yes, okay, good.
I got you covered.
I'm excited.
Why are you trying so hard to ruin my life?
I think what you may or have not have noticed or registered is that probably in Amelia's letter she like somehow accidentally indicates that the party's happening
Yeah,
without
it sounded like
intending
that.
to.
Tonight's,
Yeah,
if you're
tonight's
planning to
festivities.
attend tonight's festivities.
At the Allerton Pickering estate, like please resume your festivities. And it, like no one, it kind of goes over everybody's head, but it definitely may or may not have indicated that everybody in the village was potentially invited.
It's fine. That's fine.
And so
This is fine.
we can move
Everything's
forward to
fine.
kind of late afternoon, about maybe 5 p.m. Does that sound like a
Certainly.
good-
Very
a start
civilized
time? It's a
time.
civilized
Very
time to start, and at that point, the festivities begin, and people start trickling into the Allerton Pickering estate, and people are milling about and talking amongst themselves, and the first probably hour or so sort of passes relatively. Without any sort of incident or interest. I think at some point, Lucian will come kind of relatively early, and he will come find you because you are his best friend, and he is there for you at all times. And so at some point, Alexander, where might we find you?
In the kitchen,
Okay.
because I can see all the sweets.
Okay.
And I'm trying my best not to eat before the party, but I'm sitting
Well,
there.
the party started now. Like,
Oh.
Yeah, this is the party. So I guess that's the question. Over the first hour, is anyone doing anything in particular during the party?
I am watching for the headmaster.
Are-
And I'm just
Casually.
not casual. Like
Yeah.
I'm being a bit more overt than I would be normally. The whole
Okay.
giggling, like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Mingling, making sure all the servants are on point, greeting guests.
Where's Faye?
I think she ends up showing up as the party is starting, and is like,
You are not dressed for it.
and just magics up a simple illusion of a nice
nice dress. Yep.
dress, but under it she's prepared for battle.
Yeah, I think maybe like because you're waiting and watching, you probably see her arrive and like realize she's definitely was not dressed for a party.
The question that I have is Professor Ellis's griffin with her?
No.
Okay.
Well, she's not here either.
Well, no, I was
No, the
thinking that
griffin
she
here.
might try to find the griffin
Oh.
after she couldn't get in touch with.
Yeah, have
Professor
you been
Ellis.
like trying to reach out to the griffin?
Probably.
You
Yeah.
have. Have you used the pendant?
She probably would have before she went to the party, so she just arrived at a party. With the
Okay, so
griffin.
like so you wanted to arrive at it with the griffin.
Yeah.
I think you go to use the pendant, like you use it, and we imagine it was like this kind of crystal, right? And it just sort of starts glowing, and I think it starts like pulsing, and then kind of like flashing, and then it stops. And then every so often, kind of like a device trying to connect wirelessly, it goes boop, boop, boop.
See,
Like every so often, it's trying to connect.
I wasn't having the feels when Professor Ellis was whisked into this, but now you take an animal, and I'm like, this is not okay.
have an idea. Don't worry.
I have an idea too.
God.
Oh no!
They're synergizing.
Okay, so that's you show up at the party. You're mingling. You're laughing and watching and waiting. What is Alexander up to?
Getting into a bit of trouble because
What?
well, I do
No.
like pie and I do like cake. Pretty much any sweet. I totally lose my self-control when I see jelly rolls, and we've got a number of those, and I have just eaten all of them.
So where are you, having consumed an entire tray of jelly rolls? Like a servant walks past to put them out, and you just take the tray from them.
Yes. Yes.
Where do you take this tray to?
I'm gonna go to the potions closet.
So you agree with me?
It is a happy place.
You just have to go to the potions closet. So you start just chomping down on these jelly rolls. So Lucian will arrive, and he's going to look high and low for you. But do you think he would know to look for you in the potions closet? Like, is this a space that has been used in the past for hiding in? Because you've known each other for a while.
Let's say I hear him walking by. I open
It's
the
like,
door, pull him in.
Alexander! Alexander! I don't remember my voice that I used. I think it was this one. We're gonna make it this one. Alexander! Alexander, where are you?
Right here, open the door. I'm just gonna grab him, pull him in, and then I'm just gonna like stuff a jelly roll at him.
Just want to point out what happened in the first manner of speaking. Like, those of you may remember when Arya puts characters in closets.
Wait, what happened?
So I'm really looking forward to this.
What happened?
There was like romance and all sorts of things in closets.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So he sort of like starts eating this jelly roll and he's like, oh, that's really good. What are you doing in here? I would like to point out they're standing very close to each other. It's a small closet.
Has he drank the alcohol?
Not yet.
No, not
Okay.
yet.
Not yet. I didn't make it past the kitchen towards the party. So I have a secret. I'm sort of whispering to Lucian. I have
Yeah?
a dark secret.
Oh no, you can tell me anything. I'm your best friend.
Much shame. I have no self-control when it comes to sweets, and I think I might have made myself sick.
That's your secret. He finishes eating the jelly roll.
Well, don't you understand how I only shared it with you out of
He like
love for you?
takes your hand and it's like two jelly roll sticky hands, like you're both holding each other. And he's like, Alexander. He pauses for a second when you say out of love for you, and then he looks at you deeply. This isn't something to be ashamed of, and also I've definitely already known this because I was at your third birthday party and then your fourth and your fifth, and I saw you eat an entire cake yourself, and that's when your mum started enchanting them so you couldn't see it.
Wait, what? She did that?
Oh no, you didn't know?
I didn't even know that was possible.
I'm sorry. I didn't know. You didn't know.
No, I'm glad you told me and didn't tell me in the past. I know you were just looking out for me, but I just wanted to share them with you because I like you so much, and I thought it would be wonderful to just sit
I
in
like you so
the
much
happy
too.
closet
Thank
together.
you for sharing your jelly rolls with me in this closet.
And then I'm going to start telling him the story about how I wrestled the worms.
And as you tell him the story, he's like, "That was I heard about, and you could have gotten hurt, and I wasn't there, and I should have. What were you thinking? We are best friends. We do everything together. You don't just fight a worm on your own, Alexander."
I know, I wanted you to be there. I thought this would be the perfect time for us to celebrate each other's strength and everything.
Wrestle together.
Wrestle together. And,
As the Greeks do. Hey, it's a bacchanal, so...
You know, I feel like he sort of like finishes his jelly roll. He's like, I think we should leave this closet, and we should go to the rest of the party. I feel like I've just got so much energy in me right now that
me too.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
more than normal.
I feel like setting something on fire, getting lit. I'm not really sure what that even means.
Wait, we should discover it together.
And he's going to take your hand,
Yes.
sticky, covered in jelly roll, as you leave the closet, and you will end up walking past this bowl of punch as he leads you into the main room where the sort of dancing is going to begin.
Oh, I'm quite thirsty. Give me just a moment. And do you want anything?
Just whatever you're having.
Okay. And then so I'm going to get 2 little cups. Bring them.
Do you take the non-alcoholic punch or the special
The
punch?
special punch. It smells amazing.
Excellent.
Oh no.
Whoop. And you can bring that over to
I've
you
also
and Lucian.
never had alcohol before.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah,
oh,
this is-
boy.
And it's also full of truth,
True
serum.
serum. Everything about this is amazing. It is a present. Just you handed it to me. So let's pause for a second on the two of them as you'll begin imbibing.
Headmaster.
And yes, Dr. Leopold has arrived, and he's cavorted around the room, and he has already poured himself. So he's like, "Oh, bunch. Do I know you, dear?"
Oh, of course. Oh, yes. We spoke last time you visited the Allerton Pickering estate.
Oh yes, Miss Finch. Right.
Yes.
The tutor here.
Yes.
One of our finest graduates from Excelsior.
Originally from this particular institution. You remember a few dalliances. She, she's looking good. And she's like kind of position. Her goal is to jog his memory of an inappropriate time.
I mean, so he'll kind of. I think it takes a little bit of while. Like he'll begin kind of keep talking and sort of chatting, and he does his like charismatic sort of regular thing, and he's doing a lot of the like looks up and down and just being skeezy.
And she maneuvers him near a group of other like professors from the institution, if they're here, or I assume the inspector is not here.
No, I don't think she's arrived yet.
Okay.
No.
And near the influential members of the Ladies Witches Associating. She just kind of takes his arm lightly and maneuvers him to a place of maximum acoustic.
Monologue token.
Yes, Headmaster. I've been meaning to talk to you about those days before. You said so many things that we were unable to act upon. You mentioned how my physical gifts could take me far in the college.
And what's your internal monologue as she's saying this?
Everything I have done bringing myself to the Allerton Pickering home has been for this moment to bring this man down, to get him out of the College of Wizardry and to stop besmirching the name of good wizards and wizardettes everywhere. It's probably a thing, I don't know, but he fouls the name of wizard such that I don't even want to call myself a wizard until he's gone. But so she's a little incensed.
Full of rage.
Yeah, it's.
And he sort of like looks at you, and he picks up what you're putting down. He gives you grossest wink, but he's a little drunk now, so it's more of like a just this awkward blink. It's like, that's right. And this is the Regency era, so literally anything is much worse. So he's gonna probably like put his hand on your waist or something that is clearly inappropriate in that moment, and just be like, I mean, they still could.
I want to spend a resolve token on the Leopold as a drunken
yeah.
philanderer
Yeah.
to have this be the moment that the Inquisitor arrives and she sees this.
Yes. I accept this resolve token on behalf of myself against myself.
Yes. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm playing a terrible character and a kind of annoying character. I don't know, a puppy dog. So many characters. And
But Professor, but Headmaster, surely you don't have that kind of influence over people's academic careers.
I have as much influence as I need to have, which is I have all the influence. I am the most influential person. I can do whatever I want. I am the head of the College of Wizards.
And what is it that you want to do, Headmaster? What is it that you wanted to do in regards to me?
Oh, well, it really just depends on what you're willing
Truth
to
serum.
do for me. If you're not willing to do what I want, which you're a pretty young lady, and in this instance it would be something really, really inappropriate, then I can just make sure you don't graduate. And also besmirch your name across the entire academic institution of the United Kingdom. It's great!
Let's light
Have you tried that before?
Oh, yes, several times I've succeeded. Did you ever hear about, and then he just starts telling you about all of the people that he did that to.
I just.
Anyway,
I'm gonna do some magic.
and we just see, we like cut behind him, and Amelia is just standing there. And she does the anime thing where she adjusts her glasses and they go shing. What do you do?
I would like to do some magic so that his voice travels almost
Just make him very loud.
almost
Okay.
throughout.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
loud, but like everybody can hear it as though he was like right behind them.
Yes. Pay your resolve token. And I think in this one, I will ask you a question. How does a faction take interest in or exception to what you're doing?
The board of the Wizarding College is here because everybody got invitations, and it's definitely going to make them think that, you know, this is not a person they should be associated with, clearly, if they want their college to continue to succeed. Because I feel like the Inquisitor is already well on her way to what I want her to think.
Yeah, that helps out. So the Wizarding College, like everybody in the room, there's this sort of quiet that seems to descend across the room as he's just expounding upon all of the terrible things that he has done and all of the people that he has wronged in very inappropriate ways. The things he has demanded of people who have and they have failed to provide him what he wants.
I want to spend a resolve token to have him address specifically what drove me to Excelsior.
Yes, he will do that. Would you like me to make it up, or do you want to say what it was?
See what you say.
Okay. Oh God. How terrible is he? The worst. Okay. And he sort of looks at you like, I don't know if you remember, but there was this one young woman, and he's pretty drunk at this point, so you think he may have forgotten that you are the person that you are. She was a tasty young flighty bird. And I decided that, I don't have a wife, you see, and because I don't need one. And I said that she was going to be my wife. I just decided that, and I told her that she had to marry me, and if she refused, then I would ensure that she never graduated from any college of wizardry ever. And in fact, I decreed that women were not allowed to graduate with certain honors. And I still don't think she graduated with those honors anymore. But, she didn't marry me, so that was unfortunate. But I found someone else. She didn't marry me either. She didn't graduate either. Do you know this young? I think her last name was, Sparrow or something.
Finch.
Oh. Wait, is that your name? Are you related? Are you married? Do you want to get a degree from a college of wizards?
I'm afraid I'm out of your league.
Ah. I don't think anyone's out of my league. I am the top of my league. I'm the top of all leagues.
It is at this moment that Lady Allerton Pickering makes herself known in this conversation. Excuse me, sir.
Oh, it's you, the old lady. Your party's lovely.
I'm so glad that you have been enjoying
it's
yourself.
Boring, but it's lovely.
Perhaps a little too much, sir. I am afraid that I am going to have to ask you to vacate my premises.
But I was invited twice.
Consider yourself disinvited thrice.
Oh, I wouldn't want anybody to leave prematurely. The
And
teacher
Santa in the doorway.
she comes out of the forest.
No, of course.
Please, headmaster, do stay. the climax of the party is just ahead. Hello, Lady Allerton Pickering. My future mother-in-law. It is so good to see you. And I'm going to use this resolve token
Yes!
about the secret engagement. I don't know if Alexander remembers, but he gave me an heirloom ring.
Yes, the Alexander Satikra ring. Yep.
And so she's wearing that on the engagement finger and walks that right up to Lady Allerton Pickering.
Yeah, no.
And she looks around. Alexander insisted that we wait until today to tell you the good news.
Lucian is behind you. And we as the audience see this. He is so crestfallen. He is the saddest puppy dog you have ever seen. Anyway, continue.
Excuse me, ma'am, but
Well, your family is great.
what? Where is my son? Alexander! Alexander!
You're right there.
Oh, are you right there?
Yep. You have consumed a fair amount of punch, I believe, at this point.
Alexander,
Yes.
who is this woman?
I get scared and I'm gonna hold Lucian's hand. I'm just be like,
Lucian goes from sad to startled in an instant.
Alexander, who is this woman? Tell me right this instant.
this is Letitia. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Letitia Elfin Bessex, at your
Wessex.
service.
Alexander, have you made an offer of marriage to this woman?
Not
Yeah.
that I remember. But maybe I did. I don't know all the customs of every land and but I would never do it without your permission, of course. And proper introduction. I mean, I wouldn't want to besmirch Letitia's name. And I have the truth serum in me, and I'm going to look at Letitia and say, you kind of scare me, but in a way I'm not sure I like. And then, is the Inquisitor there as well?
Yes, we're gonna pause for just a second because Faye, wherever you're standing, you get you hear like and just like pawing at your feet. Except it's a griffin, so it's quite large. It's like headbutts you.
You're here, finally.
And you see the griffin's got like scratches across its face, and it's like clearly injured and sort of kind of a little like low and almost limping, like
And she grabs one of the many potions
Gestures
and
towards the forest.
quickly, here, this will heal you. And
And it
don't
just
actually
swallows
drink
the
that.
entire
But yeah,
bottle.
She like.
oh no,
pours
the
it.
griffin will take the whole thing, crunch, crunch, crunch.
Okay, okay. Now you're gonna need extra healing. Okay.
And then it like points you at Letitia for a moment and then starts walking back towards the woods.
I think at this point, I feel like Faye is in tune enough with the latent magical energies. She's started radiating a little bit, and like her ears have maybe gotten a little more pointed. And maybe her illusion is starting to shimmer a little. And so he pointed at Letitia and then at the woods, right? The griffin.
And the
did?
griffin is already walking towards the woods now.
Okay. She's gonna chase after him and say, "But if Letitia is involved, shouldn't we deal with her instead of the woods?" And he's still walking towards the woods. Okay.
You're human, I don't know.
She drops all pretense of that. And is very, very clearly not entirely human anymore, and is
rolls its eyes.
apparently following him to the woods.
Okay.
So, back at the party, and
Yep.
Letitia looks like she doesn't have her parasol, even though it's still twilight. Like she looks really, bit like stronger and healthier than you've probably seen her before.
Yeah.
And so, I want to give a resolve token to you to have a letter you wrote me while you were still in sort of a thrall, like when you were trying to convince me to come and meet your mom and stuff as evidence of engagement.
Right. Okay.
Do you accept that token?
Yes. I will accept that token. So I'm talking I'm nervous. I'm just rambling, and I've just said Letitia sort of scares me in a way I'm not sure I like. And then I look over at the Inquisitor, and I'm like, and you scare me in a way I think I do like. And then I look at Lucian, and I'm just like, and you don't scare me at all. And oh my goodness, I've become my father.
Is that everything that he says? Okay, great.
Are you to tell me, Lady Allerton Pickering, that you would not respect the wishes of your own son? That you would break his engagements and his good word?
She takes the letter and she reads it. And is it like, oh, marry me? Or like, what is this letter?
No, it's like a really sexually repressed, awkward dude trying to sound nice without being too forward and feeling guilty the whole time.
So the sort of thing that's like, oh, there were definitely intentions here because otherwise it would be deeply scandalous.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I assure you, madam, there are more where that came from.
Alexander.
I mean,
Alexander!
I suppose...
Lucian, did you know about this?
No, yes,
Lucian, what's wrong with you?
Alexander, I love you! And then he just runs towards the forest.
No, not towards the forest.
Towards the forest.
Well, Alexander's completely shocked. He's like, doesn't really remember writing these letters, but he remembers that he always wants to make everyone happy, and that's the only conclusion he can come to, is that he wrote what he thought would make Letitia the happiest, which was not necessarily what he wanted. It was just what would make people happy. And I'm going to just say, I'm not sure what came over me, but I need to be honorable, and I don't want to besmirch Letitia's good name, and thus I will honor, of course, any agreement happily.
You don't know what came over you, you say.
Well, I don't necessarily remember
And what
writing
sort
these
of family
letters.
are you from, Miss? Wessex. Do I know Wessex?
I don't, maybe you don't know, but I think at that point, like, probably Amelia Periwinkle, because she is very savvy, is like, the Wessex family. The vampire clan.
You don't hold truck with such backwater superstition, not a woman of the world such as yourself, Miss Periwinkle.
We've never met before.
Word of your adventures in this town have traveled widely, as have your letters.
Oh, yes, you probably got one of those. Whoosh, brandish your wand.
Brandishes her wand, and I'm going to cast a spell that can either work or not work. It's your prerogative.
Ooh.
To banish any sort of illusion and to make Letitia show her true self.
I will take it.
Okay. So with that, she's paid a resolve token, so you can ask her one of these 4 questions.
Okay, so this is the
The paid
working
side,
okay.
yeah.
Oh shit.
It's very difficult to
What
keep
does
on.
the magic demand of you?
does
What
the
does it
magic
promise? Make you promise.
Perhaps it demands that you also reveal your true form. You are half Fae, after all.
Oh. Yes. Yes.
You haven't spent time in the Fae, so at least in my headcanon, having spent time there kind of enhanced that connection, but that we
Our dad
both
is an
are
elf, isn't
kind
he?
of
Yeah.
So I'm half elf.
yeah. So there's no there is another form to reveal.
Surely,
it's just not quite as extensive
So,
because I only brought
yes,
the
it
one
would,
set
it would
of ears.
also
You have a little bit of a Galadriel moment.
yes, it would
Yeah.
also drop the vroom, yes, and reveal her half elven
Which she has
nature.
tried to deny because it was quite a problem.
Well, trying to just be part of normal society.
And at the same time that happens, of course, Letitia.
Yeah, what is her true form?
Well, I mean, it's a vampire clan, so she actually gets taller. She has adjusted her height to fit in with these mortals. Really, like Morticia Adams, but like more sculpted. Almost concave cheekbones.
Like Other Mother
yeah.
from Coraline.
Yes, and eyes almost black. I mean, just dark, swirling sort of vortex. And then, of course, there are fangs.
Beautiful, but terrifying.
Yeah. I thought your family was more honorable than this.
Ma'am, I believe you have enthralled my son, and when it comes to stopping the corruption of innocence, and I don't think there's anyone quite as innocent as my Alexander, it is not a matter of lacking honor to reveal the truth of a situation.
Your son, though you refuse to acknowledge it, is a fully grown adult and is capable of making his own decisions. But I will not force myself upon a family that does not wish to honor its stated intentions. But my family does not take to this sort of shameful behavior.
Ma'am, I believe that you have lured my son under false pretenses. And oh no, what is this? What is happening?
As she's like repeating the same thing, I just snap, and I'll use this resolve token to activate the forest.
You activated my trap card.
So I would spend this to what I intend to have happen is, there's light that comes, well, it's like the absence of light that comes up from
like a
the
void.
runes. Yeah, like voids come up from the runes. They're in a circle, and you see the like, it almost looks like the ground is raising until you start to see the spikes on the back of the ground, and it is in fact a dragon.
In my house?
In the forest.
In the forest.
But
the forest.
they've got range.
Yes.
Yeah, they do. Yep, you pay this token, and and you want this to be successful?
She does, yeah.
Or do you want it, because the other one is that it happens, but it has a significant drawback or complication. If you would like to take a token instead.
How does the magic consume or possess you, and how does it linger inside you afterwards?
Yeah, you want to answer that question? Or how does this magic go drastically out of control?
I mean, those are more fun, I suppose.
Up to you.
So the intent was that the dragon would target the lady first, but the shiniest target is the headmaster, who's wobbling about like a drunk toddler.
In the house?
In the garden. Like, he's wobbling around in the garden. And the dragon woke the dragon, and it's hungry.
You don't want to awaken the dragon.
I think, if this works for you, so you can take a token, and the dragon will do what you asked of it to summon it, which is deal with the Allerton Pickerings, but also you just summon a dragon, and it's kind of going to do whatever it wants after that.
Great. Yeah,
Great.
That sounds
My
perfectly
dragon
fun.
now. So we see the dragon, and we see the headmaster, and if this is something, unless anyone has any particular argument about it, he's, making fun of your family and how terrible you all are and how clearly disorganized, but he's probably talking to a shrubbery that at this point he thinks is a person, and we see...
I think Matilda has kind of directed him into his own little
Yeah.
corner and magic some illusions for him to
women,
talk
am I
to,
right?
and made a little sound bubble around
Yeah.
him, because there's other stuff going on.
You're right,
And they deserve respect.
We see emerging out of this forest, the trees sort of peel off and fall off of the back of the dragon, and it sort of rises up, and it just wings launch into the air, and it screeches as it reels through the sky, and then it just swoops down, picks up the headmaster, throws him up,
And we all shed a
Swallows
single
him whole.
fucking.
Then, however, the dragon wheels around and we see its mouth open as it's about to breathe fire onto the manor of the Allerton Pickering estate.
I
Let's
think
cut to
that
Faye.
is the point where
Yeah. What is Faye doing right now? It's very
I'm just
dramatic.
gonna pull all these little resolve tokens over here. I believe this is the point where at this point, seeing the dragon come up from the woods as she's walking towards, I have this lovely image in my head of a little party and her and a griffin walking towards this dark forest.
This
as
was the
this
griffin's
dragon
like,
starts to loom up. I think as the dragon starts to fly and pass over their head, she just hops on the back of the griffin and they take off. He's probably not happy about it, but obviously knows this is how it needs to go. And she starts casting. And she starts casting spell after spell, protective spells on her family and the friends that are there, like just an overall trying to protect the entire manor area. And then she probably starts casting things to get the dragon's attention.
Okay.
And the entire area gets blanketed first in lilac. The protection spells smell a bit like lilac, and then when she swaps to trying to get its attention, she's focusing more on offensive spells, and it's vanilla and it's coconut and it's and then finally when she's like more than getting attention, all the other smells vanish, and it's just the scent of new freshly fallen rain after a long dry spell.
So I think we see this kind of confrontation like sort of happening, we don't need to like play it out spell by spell. I'll just have you pay a single resolve token for engaging the dragon into this conflict. As what is everybody else doing underneath?
Well,
Lucian has run outside, so I don't know.
Felicity will call out, "Ladies of the Riches Association, ready your wands?"
They took my wallet. It should be illegal.
I have a couple of spares. Alfred, get our wand.
And maybe Periwinkle like summons up wands.
And
You're good.
Felicity.
I am the head of your organization.
Thanks.
Felicity shall lead the local Witches Association and company
Yes.
out into the garden to begin casting protection spells over the house and the guests, and aid my sister in her magical battle versus the beast. Drive it back into the forest.
Back, foul beast! I didn't have a wand, but I found this pencil.
We have not made a deal with you. We do not wish to be crunchy and good with ketchup. Get back into your forest.
Go away, or we shall taunt you again.
Second time.
Yes, a second time.
So while the witches are gathering,
So, in previous casting, Persephone had made the promise to put Alexander's safety over her own. The dragon clearly represents a threat to Alexander's safety, as does the Vessex, the girl. So you kind of see Persephone, like her face goes
she's
like
still in there.
cold. And she just kind of strides in front of Alexander, and just like you saw her in the garden with the worm dirt, she crouches down again, and you see like a glow coming from her hands as she begins casting alchemic spells on the surrounding environment.
does she? Because it's presumably a wooden floor.
Or we not? I thought we were in the garden.
It was unclear exactly where everybody is.
I figured if the dragon
It's
swooped in and
probably
ate
outside,
somebody,
yeah.
then it was
the garden.
Yeah.
I could have destroyed some of the roof, but that's fine.
That's also
yeah.
true.
So you're outside. So yeah.
We had
okay.
re-destroyed the conservatory because the witches had gathered together to
They'd
rebuild
fix
it
the
with magic.
conservatory. Yeah, the
And
dragon.
so now
swooped
the
in
dragon,
direction from the conservatory.
Yep.
And the first thing that she's going to do when she gets physically between Alexander and the danger is to send a spike of fire towards Letitia.
Okay. Do you accept your resolve token
Yes,
on behalf
I-
of yourself to set
Sure.
fire to Letitia? Describe what this looks like. She's
She's crouched down, and her she's got this glow coming from her hands, and she's kind of assessing the situation and communing with the earth, and then her head just
Like
kind of snaps
cackling
over
Letitia.
to where Letitia is, and Letitia is enjoying the sight of the dragon, not necessarily paying attention to just a regular old tutor, and so she digs her hand through the dirt to indicate the motion, and it's just like it's like a special effect, just a line of fire directly to her location.
And then we see the vampire go up in flames. Ah! Because a vampire. That is
Yep.
one of the ways to kill them. And at that point, however, the dragon has absolutely nothing controlling it. And I think we see like an escalation in this fight. And that's where you start slinging those offensive spells where it's just like screeching and roaring. We see animals running from the forests. We see riding up on the back of an elk. I am here! I will save everyone. Well, you seem okay. I will help you.
And as the witches, as the vampire's burning, and Persephone just says, "The pure of heart are out of your league," and she burns to death, and she's and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
What is Alexander doing?
Okay, I'm going to rewind just a tiny bit
Yep.
if that's okay. So
Yep.
once the conversation started to really fall apart, Alexander realizes this is not a situation he can like charm or entertain his way
Nope.
out of, and he feels completely out of
However,
his
it is
depth.
pretty lit.
It is pretty lit, and I'm a little bit like, but I am wondering where Bacchus is, because I'm like, he should be here to be helping you at this party.
So helpful.
Why is he not here? I would have thought that he would have brought some like centaurs or something that are like,
There's a brief moment where you'll see Jean ride up and you think it's a centaur for a
Yeah.
second, but it's just Jean.
and I'm stress eating more of the sweets and drinking more of the truth serum
no,
drink, because I'm just like, that's how I'm handling these emotions.
My
But the
baby.
second I hear the dragon, I'm like, oh my goodness, a problem I might know how to solve.
No.
Because remember, I'm good with animals. And so I immediately take off running back into the house. And I go to my room and I search through everything until I find a locket. A nice gold jewel-encrusted locket that has a picture of both me and Lucian inside of it. And I'm running back
Is this a
outside.
heart-shaped locket?
No, I think it's just standard.
Just
A standard jewel-encrusted locket with
Lucian
you and your
gave
best
it
You and
friend.
your
to
best
me.
friend,
Oh,
yeah.
no,
Lucian
it's
gave it
heart-shaped.
to me.
It's heart-shaped.
It has a gemstone, like a ruby
Yeah.
on it that is chipped
Yeah.
in the shape of a
Yep.
heart.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was.
no,
it was.
it's just
It was
chipped.
a diamond
It's,
when
you
I
know,
bought it, but
uh,
now it's. I guess it's a heart. I don't know. It's
Made me
weird.
think of you, I don't know why.
Maybe it's you. Deep in my bones, my jellies.
Yeah.
Oh, such a good movie.
I'm searching for Lucian now. And I'm trying, I want to tell people, but I know no one will listen to me, that you shouldn't fight the dragon. That's actually only going to make the situation worse. But people don't talk to dragons because they're scared of them, so nobody knows this.
Yeah, they do have a tendency to eat you.
Yeah. But if the worms act as your ambassador, you can't talk to the dragons.
Okay. So what are you doing? You go and you
Searching-
find this locket. You find Lucian.
I find Lucian.
He's like crying and probably also stress eating and just like I think he probably hid in the kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
so
the servants are panicking and running around.
and then I'm gonna go out and go up to the oldest worm. They're sort of like on the edge of our land a little
Okay.
bit. But I call to them, and because I've got like a nice relationship. And the oldest one comes to me, and obviously understands what I'm trying to do because I'm asking the worm to be an ambassador again. And I'm like, Lucian, get on the worm with me.
I mean, he has a lot of feelings. He just blurted something out and ran away. So you're probably going to have a conversation with him before he's going to go anywhere with you.
Okay, listen. There's a dragon here. Everyone's making it worse.
But I said,
They're fighting the dragon.
fine, okay.
To talk to a dragon, you have to offer it your greatest treasure.
But that's you.
No, we're not offering the locket, but you need to be there with me. We have to present it together.
But that's not my greatest treasure. It's just a representation of it.
That's
In
fine. That's
pictorial
fine.
and jewel form.
Yeah, I mean the jewels.
The locket was a heart all along. It wasn't chipped. It was a heart. I don't know what to do right now, Alexander.
I don't understand any of what's happening here. We can talk about it later. On the worm. Let's go.
Gets on the back of this worm with you.
All right, and we're gonna head towards the dragon.
Okay, so you are engaged in this fight. You see Wormback riding a Wormback. You see Alexander with Lucian upon it. This dragon is engaged fighting with you. It's attempting to destroy portions or eat other people at this party. It's full of rage.
God damn it, Imp.
I'm assuming that with the Griffin's help, most of this is aerial, and
Oh,
we're trying
for
to
sure.
like
Yeah.
pull
There's a
the
lot of-
dragon away from the.
It's very trying. But yes,
Surroundings.
yeah, it's a big fight.
And then I am going. Let me look at this magic thing. How's this magic thing work? Thank you.
Part of it's covered.
Oh, it is right
Oh, you
there?
guys. Yeah, you have one too.
Uh,
That one's probably easier to read than
Yeah.
mine. Because mine printed wrong.
Um,
Printed upon itself. It got complicated.
I think that she is going to try and culminate like she's going to try and cripple the dragon in some way.
Okay.
I'm assuming she's gotten it far enough away that if it just crashed down, that it would not crush anyone.
Okay.
And she is going to cast one final water-based spell that is going to just swirl a blizzard around it
Definitely
and
cool it.
coat its wings in ice so
Okay.
that it cannot fly anymore.
All right. Pay that resolve token.
And so it'll come crashing
What
down.
does the magic demand from you, or what does it make you promise?
I think it will make me promise not to hide my true nature anymore.
Okay. As you summon this swirl, we see the dragon, like its wings sort of freeze and it sort of screeches as it tumbles to the ground.
I'm very upset about this because it's such an honor and an opportunity to actually get to interact with a full-grown, like, ancient dragon. I've only interacted with some of the younger ones, only like a few 100 years old.
Just
very-
ate a person.
Briefly.
True. Yeah, it didn't take very long to eat him.
And nobody liked him, to be fair. But
I mean,
You didn't kill it, right? You just grounded it.
Yeah, it's on the ground.
It's not dead.
but, I mean, on the eating people thing, I mean, for Alexander, it's cultural relativism. I just need to be non-judgmental and meet the dragon where it's at. I need to respect it. Because you can't present a gift to the dragon unless you come with true respect as well. And the dragon, this does not guarantee that the dragon's not going to eat me.
No, it
It's
really
just-
doesn't.
Just guaranteeing that the dragon will acknowledge my presence and maybe listen to me. So I scream to everybody. I use some sort of charm magic to make my voice more commanding and projecting. And I just tell everyone to stop. Please do not harm this dragon. You will only make it worse.
I think it's very well taken care of, but please continue.
Don't you understand? If you kill this one, thousands will come.
What?
To feast
They're like
upon
spiders.
Oh my
Yeah.
That's not accurate about spiders.
No.
Well, it depends on the web.
Yeah.
But thousands will come to feast upon its corpse, especially such an ancient one as this. Killing it is the worst possible thing we could do.
What are you going to do about it, Alexander?
I don't know. Just trust me.
I think at this point, Faye hears this and just kind of gives a very hearty
It's your cousin, your nephew, I should say.
and then begins casting a new spell.
Okay.
And it's going to take a moment.
Okay. What do you do,
Yeah.
Alexander?
Give
You have
everybody
told
else
everybody.
a chance. She will say first, consider that handled, and in a very Galadriel style voice.
Gosh. I have some potions on me that are supposed to make people want to dance and party. And I'm going to throw one at her because I'm worried that she's going to get herself killed.
You're worried that she's going to.
No, I still got plenty of tokens left. I got this.
Yeah, well, this is how he would handle it. Alexander would handle it because I don't want to hurt anybody. And I can't talk to the dragon if it's dead. I can't ask it to leave if it's dead.
So what does Alexander do?
So I have with me some party potions that I brewed up. My hope is that it will make you hear fun music and make you be unable to resist
You are
dancing.
not in a place where you can give people potions. Right now, you are on the back of a worm. You
Yeah.
yelled at everyone to stop. They're all waiting for Alexander. So what does he do?
Well, what I'm saying is I'm getting closer to the dragon. I am
Yeah.
close to Faye, and I'm gonna just
Yep. Dragon's on the ground. Faye's in the air. What do you do? You can go to the dragon, or you can go somewhere else.
Okay.
There's no there. You don't get to do two things, or I'm going to let everyone else act.
okay.
You
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to do one thing.
yeah.
Do you go to the dragon or not?
No, I'm gonna go to Faye
Okay.
and try to convince her to stop what she's doing.
Okay.
I think she takes a break from the spell to say, Alexander, I told you it's handled.
No, but you don't understand. You will actually doom us all if you kill this dragon.
And then I think she finishes the spell.
Okay.
And time stops for just a second. And then in this really sort of ear-popping way, it feels just like a bubble collapsing in on the dragon. And then until it's just surrounding the dragon. And then the dragon is like caught in this time bubble, and the bubble starts shrinking, but so does the dragon. And people watch as the dragon gets younger and younger and smaller and younger until it's about this big. And then the bubble pops. And the dragon is left there, about that big, a baby. Little baby hatchling. Squawking and putting little puffs of smoke out.
Pay the token. And how does an unintended side effect occur?
He really likes Alexander. Like
It
besties.
imprints?
Yeah.
Okay.
Imprints on Alexander. Is that okay to you?
Yes, but can I
Okay.
add another consequence of this? So I want it to be that the dragon's power did not actually shrink with it. It's just now weaker, so then other dragons might come to want to get this power.
This doesn't feel like resolution to me. That's the problem.
Well, we can use it. We can ask the dragon to sacrifice this power for something.
I think this is going to remain a question that isn't answered. We
Yeah.
don't know what the consequences of doing this are. We know that there is a baby dragon that is now printed on Alexander. What this does for other dragons or how this one was summoned is not a question that the scope of the story can
I think
answer.
that's fine.
What does Felicity do?
Well, that was very impressive. But now there's a little baby dragon of questionable power levels who's winded its way over to my son, who also
I
may
think the
have
two of you eventually land, and this dragon does the like,
Oh my God.
it's just the
It wants to be us.
So, Felicity is. Are you on the ground?
I am now on the ground, yes.
Okay. Felicity is going to go to her son, Alexander. She points at the baby dragon. We will discuss this later. Returning to the inciting incident. What in the world were you doing? Cavorting with a vampire.
And so Tisha's corpse has been the whole burning process was in progress, and the
Oh,
spell's
yeah.
released because she's
and then just her parasol somehow collapses to the
Yeah.
ground. Just clatters through. It had to be fireproof because otherwise she would catch on fire in the sun. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So, mainly just to say that any relinquishing hold she had disappears once the flame has consumed her completely.
Yes. I had no idea she was a vampire. I mean, I know I'm not very observant, but I was pretty sure she wasn't a vampire. I thought she was just cool.
Alexander, you are my youngest. and a beloved son. And today, in fact, just in the past few moments, I have learned things about you that I did not know. Aside from the engagement, apparently, you have a fondness for the wild things of the world and a desire to reach out in non-violent communication, and I think that's very commendable. As your mother, I'm very proud. Wish perhaps that you would pick smaller, less dangerous things to try and commune with, but I understand that you are a grown man and that you must follow where your heart leads. But, Alexander, you spend so much time trying to please others and have not made clear, perhaps to even yourself, what it is that will make you happy. Alexander, what is it that will make you happy? And of course she has no idea about the truth potion.
Do I get to do a second one?
Yeah, you've already done a monologue.
Yes.
Oh, can't I?
It's supposed to be one. It's one monologue per person. So
Okay.
Sorry.
So who hasn't done a monologue?
I think it's
I think it's gonna be
Oh,
Jean.
right, yeah.
it's okay. You can use it for a side character instead if there's one that we would like to hear from.
Gosh. So Alexander's pretty stunned. He's unsure what he wanted and wants. Definitely feels a little like I wanted to be able to help the dragon more, and is like feels a sense of loss at the loss of what the dragon was, and it's just like I don't know what to do with this. And I'm just going to say I have no idea. I think I would like to help people understand that not everything that looks scary is scary, and not everything that looks dashing and brave is in fact dashing and brave. And I don't know, but now that I think about it, I was trying to track down a vampire clan so I could catalog their communication style. I was hoping to start a small business translating. I ordered a lot of scribes, but that business fell apart some years ago at this point. Really, shouldn't let children start businesses.
You are a grown man.
I'm 17, right? Like 18.
Yeah, basically.
You're 18.
Definitely marrying age at this point. That's grown.
Basically an adult.
So basically, an
If she's
adult.
basically dead, you're basically an adult.
Alexander, I have spent so much time trying to secure your future and find you a suitable spouse that you might settle down and take care of someone, or probably more likely be taken care of. And let's, just be fair about this. But it really seems to me that perhaps your path forward is more in a, what is the word?
Vocational?
Anthropological arena. Perhaps we
know what
can.
that word means.
Perhaps we can look into teaching you what that word means, and you can explore that as a vocation. And then you can marry or not at your leisure. And then your poor mother will know that you are at least capable of making your own way in the world.
Yes. You could also just tell me what I should do.
That is not the point. You are a grown man, Alexander. You need to make these decisions for yourself.
I think that's where we'll draw this scene to a close and go to our epilogue, if that sounds good to everyone. So we can move on to the final epilogue, the final epistolatory of our show, where we can. So I will not limit you to 2 letters. You can write as many as you feel is appropriate for your characters to receive their conclusions. we will close out this portion of these characters' stories at this point. Is there anyone who has a letter they would like to begin with?
I think Faye writes to her dad again one last time. Dearest father, please disregard the previous letters. As by the time I will have received your reply, they are no longer relevant. We have discovered the meaning of the runes and dealt with the consequences therein, though through somewhat less conventional means than I might be accustomed to. I'm leaving the Wizards College. It is simply, I have found its walls too confining for the future of my learning.
Like a little rabbit shows up with a letter for you from your dad in response to the first letter, and it's like, oh my goodness, those runes! Definitely summoning a dragon. Haven't seen those in generations. You should be very careful. I will come immediately. And it's just in response to like 2 letters ago.
Yeah.
So I am going to spend a resolve token.
Okay.
That I'm sorry, Anna. There it goes. Spend a resolve token.
Sorry.
That because I was throwing things about your studio. Well then, if that's the kind of
Hey, last show, all right? No, it's not trash.
So that the party, though unconventional, was a smashing success.
Oh, you had sign-ups?
And yes, and that people were so number one, so dismayed about learning that the college would allow such a teacher to thrive in their environment for so long, but also that the old biddies just did such a good job with like warding and all of this stuff when the dragon showed up, and they organized so well. People and also there have been subsequent announcements.
They didn't see Faye. They just heard that it was your older sister.
Yeah, and they've
the old ladies.
And there have been subsequent announcements that the local witches association is going to start teaching classes for the younger people, and also continuing education for the older folks. And so anyways, so the letter that Felicity writes is a general letter of welcoming to all of the new members of the Witches Association. You now find yourselves as members of one of the oldest and most esteemed magical associations in Haverford-upon-Sea. We welcome you into our ranks. The meetings are bi-monthly, and there will be tea and crumpets.
Wait, so bi-monthly, do you mean every other month, or do you mean once every 2 weeks?
Once every 2 weeks.
Why didn't we just say once every 2 weeks?
Why are we using all this fancy language? It's not what the kids today want. They want abbreviations.
Abbreviations
Should be illegal.
should be illegal, I agree, but we need not decree such things. People must have free choice, as they do in what sort of wand they want to buy. Speaking of, we have another strongly worded letter. Anyways, blah blah blah. And then a second letter. To actually, I'm gonna hold that.
Okay.
Continue.
So I'm going to write a letter of apology to Lucian. We're going to imagine this is maybe like 6 months later. So a lot of dragons were attracted to this shrinked power dragon. And to keep us safe and to try to negotiate with them, because I am trying to start my own business of translation negotiations between magical creatures, we had to give it our greatest treasure, and that was my friendship with Lucian. But I had to offer the whole thing to them, imbuing the locket with the memories and the emotions there, and offer it up to all of the elder dragons to be like, please don't destroy us. And I'm writing a letter to Lucian to say, I'm so sorry for what we have lost, and we can always start again. And that's all I'm going to write.
you get the reply, which is, I'm sorry, I think you might have had the wrong person. I've never met you before.
Tragedy.
Give up your friendship.
Yeah.
He doesn't know who you are.
Miss Finch will write a letter to Jean. And
Bravely came. Didn't really do much.
Dear Jean, mon petit chouchou, I appreciate your sentiment in attempting to come to our aid during the great event, as we are calling it in the local circles. The way things have resolved, tutelage is no longer required at the Allerton Pickering household, so my stewardship at that home has come to an end, and I'm assessing my next moves. As it happens, I was thinking of forming my own school and perhaps going back to Paris. I hear you continue to maintain some contacts there, and perhaps you could introduce me to the right sorts of people. I have come into a fair amount of money, you see, and I was here under false pretenses, as you were, I believe. But it's time for the next chapter, and I want to give back, and I want to balance the world. There was so much negativity at the College of Wizardry, but that doesn't mean that magic has to be negative. Looking forward to your reply.
I think your reply that you get is just one day you wake up and there's just like a stag just waiting outside, and there's just a little note attached to it, and it says, your ride is ready.
I don't remember calling an Uber. So I would probably write my other letter. I don't know if I can even track Alexander at this point because he's like off doing dragon things.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So I would just send a letter to Miss Alton Pickering. Dear Lady Alton Pickering, I thank you so much for the opportunity to serve in your household, and I congratulate you on the well-earned increase in membership for the local Witches Association. I hope I may call upon you in future years and hear about all of the wonderful progress that you've made. And I hope you are as proud as I am of your son's incredible talent and drive to be unique. Wishing you all the best.
What a lovely woman she was. Just right back.
I think you'll get a letter from Amelia Periwinkle, saying, "Dear Lady Felicity Allerton Pickering, leader of the local College of Witches, Haverford-upon-Sea, and
association.
oh, sorry, local association of local association.
Did they give
of
me the
witches.
college?
There's a leadership crisis, and it's the worst. It's the worst. You won't understand any of it. Your organization branch has passed our assessments with flying colors. You have had the highest fourth quarter enrollment numbers that I have ever seen, and are projected to truly eclipse all other metrics that we could have possibly fathomed for your organization. Please accept this my congratulations for your leadership and quality collaboration within your local community and synergy within the other branches of your local region. I will be coming for future visits, but I look forward to spending more time with you and your organization. Blah, blah, blah. Buzzword. Sincerely, Amelia Periwinkle.
Did they give me like a clear plastic, like laser cut inside award?
Yeah. For highest enrollment numbers.
Yeah. Excellent.
And there is a notice, I think, probably in the local newspaper from the local College of Wizards, saying that they are they're basically hiring. They're looking for a replacement for the new leader, the new headmaster of the local College of Wizards. They are on a nationwide search, and there's also like several pieces of commentary about how they're trying very hard to change their image. There was a opinion piece in the newspaper and all sorts of.
It was just
information.
Geraldine
Yeah.
Stone saying it should
Should
be
be
illegal
illegal.
over and over again.
Yes.
Like stating a thing, it should be illegal. Stating
Yes,
a thing,
the opinion
it should be illegal.
Hello, Geraldine.
Elaine Merritt will be submitting her resume.
Her resume, very nice.
For the college, to lead the college.
And any final things?
I think I would write one to the Inquisitor to say that it was so lovely to have met you, and I'm sorry if the party was not lit. I don't know, I have that word in my head now, but it just feels right. And I would love an opportunity to give you another party, and also I was wondering if you had any contacts within your agency that might be in need of some magical creature translation work. I'm looking to branch out, and I'm writing this letter partially because I've become aware that Lucian has joined this magical order as well. And I might get to meet him again.
Everyone else good? All right. On that note, that brings our story to a conclusion. Thank you for joining me and all of us for this lovely 3-part episode of Third Time's the Charm. We will wrap up one final time with who we are, where we can be found, and I do have a couple of donations. I'm going to go ahead and read those out first, and then we'll do our sign-offs. So the first one is from Left-Handed Monkey Wrench with $100 to help make sure the Geek Space has plenty of space.
Hey!
Thanks for all the great shows. You're all wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
I heard you. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. Grimlost in with $5. Thank you to all who made Geek Space TV so amazing, both on and off screen. I'm a better person for having been exposed to this diverse, inclusive space and the stories told here. Thank you for being part of the community. And we're all still, again, except for Lizzie, who is a hologram that we're going to turn off. The rest of us will continue to exist on the internet and in real life, but mostly the internet.
Oh, AJ and I'll keep tinkering with her.
Okay, we've got to get her one of those like portable holographic generators, like
Yep.
the Doctor.
Yep.
It's really awkward that she can only be in certain spaces.
Yep.
And BP Phantom with $10 gonna miss the heck out of this show here. Can't wait to see what comes out of the next expansion, right? You're all delightful humans and should be proud of the joy and laughs you have given a bunch of weirdos on the internet. And we're all pretty weird. And we viewers too. We viewers too. Less than 3. I'm excited. The expansion, the problem is I can't run the servants expansion because all the servants have to talk like this and no one will be able to understand anything. That would be the entire show, so I can't recommend. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. As a reminder, go check out the Kickstarter for the expansions, including this one in print form. And let's do our sign-offs. Let's start over here.
Hello, my name is Aria. You can find me on Twitter at Genki Soda, and I totally promise this is not the last time you will see me. I will be doing more things on the internet, probably streaming myself someday whenever I figure out how to do it. It just seems like a mountain.
If only
right
you
now.
knew people.
Yeah, I don't know who can help you with that.
Hi, everybody. I've been Cheryl Platts, aka Muppet Aphrodite, and proud to have been Hexy Kate in Leviathan and Honora Quid in Right Click here at Geek Space and this role as well. So thank you for those good times. I can be found at Muppet Aphrodite on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, most of the things. I stream on Sundays at 10 a.m. most of the time, and I look forward to seeing you on the internet.
And I am Lizzie the Bold. You can find me on the Twitches and the Twitters at Lizzie the Bold. I am a part-time Twitter, full-time train wreck, and it has been a absolute honor and joy and lovely in every possible way to be a part of this amazing group of people and to be invited to come back. And I love all of you guys, and I love everybody at this table, and all of the people from Leviathan and from all the other just awesome things that I've done. And this is goodbye forever. No.
Well, I'm
No.
Oh, holograms flickering. Quick. More power!
And you will see me again on the internets.
Yeah, I mean, you got Celestial Rangers coming up, so.
I do. We have Celestial Rangers coming up, and then who knows what the future holds.
I refuse to not play games with you again. We will again. On
One
the
of the very
interwebs.
best things that has come out of this whole y'all, this is fucking realness. One of the very best things that has come out of this whole Twitch thing that I somehow got sucked into has been meeting you and being your friend, and as a result, meeting and becoming friends with this whole, I mean, I love you, all of you. Anyways, now we're gonna all go fucking cry.
Yeah.
Your turn.
I'm Anna Geeks. I only do silly things. That's it. You can find me at Anna Geeks on Twitch or Twitter, or Anna Geeks AFK on Instagram, and Anna Geeks on YouTube. I may or may not eventually get something on there.
And I have been your GM for now and for always. Random Tuesday.
And a fantastic
promise.
GM.
And on that note, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for being an amazing and excited and engaged community. We couldn't have done any of this without you. And go forth and enjoy amazing things. We will see you next time on the internet. Never fear. Have a wonderful day, night cycle. Goodbye. Goodbye. And we're clear.
Are we muted?
I think
Nope.
so.
Nope, we are not.
We're not muted yet!
You can't get rid of us that easy!